Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. No money picks coming up. Just so everyone knows, on Patreon, there will be 2 USFL bets on Friday. That's how much I am dripping off of withdrawal from the NFL. I will be trying to bet the USFL. I've actually watched the first few. I actually watched every game of week 2. And I don't want to go too off topic here. We got the draft coming in like 9 minutes. But did you watch any of the USFL?
I'm not. I'm staying out of it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But it's actually a little bit better than I thought. I just wanted to say that when we started off, dude. And man, I'm excited tonight. This is the most drama we've had going into the draft. It's not like the sexiest draft we had. There's no big quarterbacks coming out that are going to be slanging dick and changing franchises, anything along those lines. But there is so much mystery and intrigue tonight. That's why I'm excited, man.
I know. I'm right there with you. First, I just want to say thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to tonight. And yeah, dude, this draft is going to be very interesting. We have not heard anything regarding rumors. Like normally most years we know before the draft, picks 1 through 5, exactly who they're going to be. We don't even know who the number 1 overall pick is. And while the quarterbacks in this draft aren't too hot, that's probably just going to make the draft more chaotic. But the defense in this draft is loaded, especially on the defensive line. If you're a team in the top 15 and you need defense, this is the night for you. Jets, you got 2 top 10 picks. You better do something. Giants, you better do something. This is the night to really turn defenses around. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Dude, you bring up the Jets, so I'm gonna have to get to them. And the big question is, what are they gonna do? If Sauce Gardner there, do they go Sauce Gardner? Do they try to force pick Stingley? I think they should take the risk and roll with Thibodeau. And then it's also interesting. You got Jacksonville. They're torn between Hutchinson and the other defensive tackle, Walker from Georgia. Normally the Jags, they go as safe as possible. I'm curious to see what they do. They really should be thinking about trading down, but they won't.
Yeah, and for them, I don't think this should be an argument. I think this should be Hutchinson number 1 overall. Don't even touch Trayvon Walker. Because the way I see it, I don't know if he should even go in the first round. He didn't prove anything to me at Georgia to really show that he deserves to be the number 1 overall pick.
Yo, what's up, Freshness AH? What up, Paul Capo? And, dude, I kind of agree with you, and I don't want to shit on a guy because he plays with a bunch of dogs, but, no pun metaphor because the Georgia Bulldogs. But, you know what? Their defensive line's got 5, 6, top 3 round type dogs up there, and you play with those guys. You don't really have to carry anyone. And the Jags, I just don't think they can afford to roll any dice at this point. I would go Hutchinson too. Although I don't know if he's all that explosive. What we're looking for. Although, dude, he's really consistent when he's on the field.
I'm with you. I mean, the best way to describe it is I feel like anytime I watch Hutchinson, it's just if he loses a rep, it feels like the other team got lucky, not that he lost and got dominated. You rarely saw this dude actually get dominated in college. And that's why I think he should be the number 1 overall pick. I can't say the same about Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, because he had other guys dominating around him. And one guy, I think their best defensive lineman, he's too young to be eligible for the draft. Just giving out an instance. We're getting some background noise. I don't know. Is it me?
Sorry, it might be me. I have the draft play in the background.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, do you want to turn it down?
It's great. And we got a long night ahead anyways, so
cool.
We better dig in here. And we might as well get to your Carolina Panthers. That's the one team that, some people are looking for Baker. Is Jimmy G on the move? What's going on with that? Do you want them to just force pick Kenny Pickett here? I got them going a different direction. I actually think they take the kid from Liberty, but we'll see what goes on.
To be honest, I have no idea what they're going to do. With Matt Rule at the helm, we really don't. He's an unpredictable man. I think the best thing to do is to trade down because we traded for Sam Darnold last year, we have no picks until like pick 150 after we pick six overall. So the way I see it, you need to trade down, try to get to like 10, and then if there's a good tackle there, take them. Other than that, I am not touching any of these quarterbacks at 6 overall. Matt Rule might, but I am staying away from it because the way I see it, Malik Willis is a lottery pick, and Kenny Pickett is just a more mobile Andy Dalton. And I don't want any of that.
I got Malik Willis going, and I've dug my trench there. Now everyone seems to shift to them taking a tackle, which I wouldn't be against. Although with how deep this draft is with tackles, it's like, do you really need to force pick one at 6? Why not trade down and get a second round pick where Carolina's actually been successful? And then question, we got plenty of time to talk about Carolina. This is from Sean, Bill's first pick, Binghamton, New York area here. I've been loving your content for a couple seasons. Well, thank you, Sean. I've been seeing people rumoring the Bills are going to get a running back. No, I don't think so. I think they're going to go offensive line, or I actually think they're going to go receiver. But
yeah, if they, I think defensive line would be a good pick for them as well. Just a game changer to help out that secondary. And there are going to be a lot of good defensive linemen at their pick. That's the one position I feel like is really deep. I've heard some scouts say that they believe that 12 to 15 of these guys are having first or second round grades on them. So that just goes to show the depth in this class for the defensive line.
Yeah, dude. And like the thing is, defensive linemen should be more sexy than they are because outside of quarterback in this league, I don't think there's a more important position group.
I think if you had to rank position groups, I'd go quarterback, cornerback, wide receiver, and then defensive end.
Yeah, dude.
Those are my top 4.
Yeah, and so that's one thing I'm watching. And then another team that's picking down quite a bit, man, is the Chiefs. But I'm very intrigued to see what they do. I'm wondering if they're going to roll the dice on a wide receiver. No Tyreek Hill. I didn't get your opinion on the Dolphins, but I'm sure we can get into that. I don't think they have a pick tonight.
No, they do not.
Like no Tyreek Hill, and you got to think the Chiefs got to do something explosive. Plus, one problem with the Chiefs team, it does seem like it got a little bit stale.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if the Chiefs try to make a trade up for, tonight to get one of these wide receivers. They have 2 first-round picks, and they're right next to each other. So, I mean, it might make sense to just, mesh those 2 picks and try to get into the teens and take your favorite receiver. Maybe Jameson Williams if he's there. Get that Tyreek Hill speed replacement. If you're sticking later in the draft, you're staying at 29 and staying at 30, I think Christian Watson could be the guy for you. I know you like Christian Watson. I do as well. When I watch that man run, I think DJ Moore, and I think, the guy that was on the Vikings, his name is slipping.
Justin Jefferson?
No, like a long time ago. Percy Harvin. He runs like that. You don't see guys that tall run that efficiently, and I value that.
Dude, and this brings me into like the next team I'm watching. We got the Packers sitting down there with 2 picks. And, they won't draft a wide receiver. They let Devontae Adams go. And I'm just left scratching my head at this organization. Like Aaron and Game Rodgers gets his payday. I guess it's kumbaya there. Then what, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks after that, the cataclysm of Devontae Adams leaving hits. And then I don't even know if they have the balls to gamble on someone like – I don't think they'll even take a wide receiver. That's how insane they are.
I mean, how stubborn can you be to not take a receiver? Like that's their number 1 position of need. You think even if you got to, same thing with them. Like we were talking about the Chiefs, they have 2 first-round picks. They can trade up and get their receiver of choice. So
exactly. I actually think the Chiefs will do it. Because they're not afraid to roll the dice. They're not afraid to look stupid. Remember, even when they took Tyreek to Thrill Hill in the 3rd round, there were like people saying they weren't going to watch the Chiefs anymore. And that was like the worst pick in the world because he did some stuff off the field. They better get him a receiver, though, because I'm getting sick of it. And now to bring up another playoff team, this is a rumor I was interested in. I think it's baloney, but I want your opinion. Some people are saying, okay, we know Carolina's in the quarterback sweepstakes. We know the Steelers are in the quarterback sweepstakes. But some people are saying Tennessee is a dark horse to get in the quarterback sweepstakes. I don't see it.
I don't either. And they're not high enough to do anything, from what I understand.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know. And Tannehill's under contract for at least a couple more years. He's getting paid big bucks. I see no reason why they would want to bring in a rookie in here.
Yeah, and then you got this situation with A.J. Brown. I actually see them trading out the first round. If I had a bet of a team that's going to duck out of this first round, it would be the Titans. What's up, Eli? Yeah, what's up, Eli Deco, Titans fan in the house?
What do you think of the rumor that there are teams like Seattle, like Carolina, if we possibly trade down, that could come out of the second round, that could use their second round pick, merge that with something else, and come back into the first round at the end of the night to take a quarterback?
I could see it because let me tell you something. This is just some food for thought. Over under for quarterbacks picked in the first round is at 2.5 from what I saw 3 days ago. I go under there. I'm not saying do anything crazy here. Betting on the NFL draft is kind of like fucking playing Russian roulette.
Especially this year.
Goes. Yeah.
When we got no resources at all to get our picks on.
Yeah, dude. And I like Malik Willis. I actually think he's a first round talent, especially with just the way this game is going. But man, I got to be honest with you. I don't think Kenny Pickett's a first round guy. He's the prototypical second, third round guy. He really is the second, third round guy molded in clay. There's nothing wrong with that. People are focusing on the hand size and stuff like that. Dude, don't focus on that. He looks like a second, third round guy. Say me and you are right about Mitch Trubisky. Nothing against Mitch. You can be a second, third round guy, get paid in this league at quarterback, start games, no matter how below average you are. But he just smells like a second, third round guy. And then I'm looking at Matt Corral. People are trying to corral him up, and I actually could see Seattle trading up for Corral in the late first round. But we'll see. And I want to see, and that brings up the thing I wanted your opinion on Baker Mayfield. What's going on with that? Our team's just saying, dude, this dude can't play. Let's get the hell out of it. Let's not even talk about him. And then I was finally seeing at the end of the day, I'm sure you see it because you're a Carolina Panther fan, but I was seeing Jimmy G to the Seahawks or the Panthers. It doesn't seem like 49ers will let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where any of these quarterbacks are going to go, to be honest. The only report I've heard about Baker Mayfield is that there is mutual disinterest between the Panthers and Baker Mayfield in terms of getting a trade together. So I don't know if that's true, if that still holds true. Maybe depending on what they do tonight, I think we'll get some insights into that. If they take Kenny Pickett at 6, which I will be very upset about, they're not taking or trading for Baker Mayfield.
Marcy says, huge Steelers fan here. And of course, huge Lawson fan. Well, thank you. Who do you see Pittsburgh taking first? And what do you think will happen to Baker, seeing Cleveland basically stuck with him? I actually think they're trying to unload Baker. And I was talking to Michael Mann 3-4 days ago. I think his worth is a 6th round pick at the moment. 1 year of control on him, injury, can't really throw. And for the Steelers, I think they're going to take a quarterback. A lot of people got them going Pickett. I'm going with them to take Pickett just because I think I'm sticking to my guns, even with the news today. I really think the Panthers might take Malik Willis, and that's why I think Steelers will get Pickett. We'll see what they do.
I think the Steelers are definitely looking to get a quarterback. I know about a week ago before they re-signed Edmonds, that safety was a pick that a lot of people were projecting. I saw a lot of Kyle Hamilton to the Steelers if he falls that far. But yeah, I think they're going to sit and wait for a quarterback. My main question is, will they trade up to try to do it? Because they did a few years ago to get I forget his name, Devin Bush, the linebacker. They did a few years ago to trade for him. Will they trade up to try to get in the top 10 to get Malik Willis or to get Kenny Pickett? As far as the Panthers taking Malik Willis goes, if they did that and if they took him at 6, I wouldn't like it, but I could live with that because Malik Willis actually has the talent to be a franchise quarterback. Right now, I think he's nothing more than a poor man's like Lamar Jackson or a poor man's Jalen Hurts. Kind of like if you can think of the rookie version of them, that's how I picture them. But over the next few years, if Malik can actually cut these turnovers down, make better decisions, and learn to throw from the pocket, I think he'd be very good.
And here's one team that's not in the first round. Steve says, "How about those Bears?" Listen, they got Nathaniel Hackett, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, they got Nathaniel Hackett, and I kind of like Justin Fields. And is there any team that's neglecting the wide receiver position more in this league than the Bears? I don't know what they're doing.
The Packers.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Bears wide receiver. Like, outside of Mooney, who do they got? Draft starter, man. I'm ready, man.
Atlanta, too. Atlanta's a really bad wide receiver team as well.
Dude,
all right.
Especially with Ridley suspended.
Yeah, that screwed him over so bad. I think they're going to take a wide receiver tonight. I know you're not a big Drake London guy, but he's been the one person that I've constantly heard rumors with to go like in the top 10, whether it's Atlanta or the Jets or Washington. I think he goes a lot earlier than he should. I personally don't think he's I think he's more Kelvin Benjamin than Mike Evans, if you know what I mean.
Well, and here's the thing, man. And like now we're seeing Jameson Williams is gaining steam. I mean, that just kind of like makes the 8 wide receivers I predicted in the first round come true. Like if a guy who's going to miss the whole first year, teams are still going to gamble on him. I think the Falcons do take a wide receiver. And Sean, I miss you two guys. I miss you guys. Like without the NFL, there's just nothing equal to it. Like we're getting excited about a draft.
Yeah, and which is starting right now, by the way. Goodell's talking.
Yeah, I see him. I just want them to start the picks.
Yeah.
But,
And I'm telling you now, I told you this pre-show, but this is going to be a long night, man. I mean, with so many teams trying to trade down, I think each team is going to spend like the whole 8-9 minutes, whatever it is, and see if they can get any offer to trade back. And it's going to make the draft go by really slow. So
yeah, and listen, I do think we're going to have something to talk about tonight.
Oh, for sure. This is going to be a very chaotic and action-packed draft.
Like I think there's going to be player movement that doesn't involve rookies.
So like, go ahead.
No, but have you ever seen a crazier offseason?
No, not in my lifetime.
It's fucking crazy. Like, if you would have told me the Dolphins would have got Tyreek to Thrill Hill or Devontae Adams is going to the Raiders, like, I would have called
it. Or the AFC West getting ready for World War III. Like,
dude, the quarterbacks in the AFC West are crazy. Mm-hmm. And Russell Wilson, like, man, no one's talked about it, but he's fallen off these last 2 years.
Yeah.
And he needs to respond because that receiving core is better than people think.
You cannot let that team down. And I'll tell you this. If the AFC West was in the NFC, I think every single one of those teams would be in the wild card. Like all 4 teams would make the playoffs in the NFC.
Bro, there's like 10 good teams in the AFC. Some people are saying 12. But I'm not going to throw the Dolphins in there with quarterback. Like I'm just not going to go there.
And I think you need it.
Pittsburgh's fucking dangerous. And you guys know how I feel about Trubisky. Like that's how deep the AFC is. It's
all
insane.
Right. Jags on the clock.
Yeah, let's go. Jags are on the clock, man.
So let me ask you this. Do you think Deebo Samuel gets traded tonight?
I don't think he's going to get traded tonight, but I think he's going to get traded. Like, don't you feel like he's playing a pretty heavy hand? I don't think he's joking.
Oh, yeah, I think he wants to go, no doubt. But I'm just – people were saying that he could go to the Jets for the 10th overall pick tonight.
Jets should do it, but yeah. I don't like. Okay, one thing we know about Shanahan and the Lynch coalition with Shanahan, dude, they're patient. Like, look how long they just held on to Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
Even you were saying like Trey Lance really isn't all that bad. Like, and I don't know, and I know I'm going to get heat on it, but how much better is Jimmy G than Trey Lance?
If at all.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, about Trey Lance is that whether you think he's a good passer or not, like, he still offers you a lot of mobility. And if anyone can eat off of play action and can eat off of zone reads, it should be Kyle Shanahan. Now,
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan's offense is a very complicated and hard one to learn. So for that reason, I get why they sat Trey Lance the entire year. But going into this year, like, it's time to pull the trigger on your draft pick that you invested a whole lot of capital into getting last year.
Yeah, man. And just and now we got a team. Speaking of a team that invested a lot of capital, Jags. Listen, the free agency was underwhelming. We've seen the Jags do this before. Like, I know we live in like a 15-minute world. Like, we live in a goldfish world where people can't remember 2 weeks beforehand, let alone like 3-4 years. The Jags have done this before. Like Doug Peterson getting Peterson, however you want to say it. I liked it. I can vibe.
I do too.
It's not
because
bad.
He's a legit head coach. You know, he will make that team respect him and make the players play hard for him. And that's something you can't say about the last Jags couple head coaches.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. And then plus, like, you know, the Urban Meyer thing, like, I respected it for, like, just grabbing your nuts and going full bore. But, bro, that was a huge disaster.
Hey, at least they moved on from him, though.
Yeah.
I wish my team would do the same.
Well, yeah, you got Matt Rule.
Yeah, I got the Walrus himself.
Dude, I fucking
carry my team down.
I fucking saw a quote from Matt Rule. I'm not bullshitting here.
No, I believe it.
He said he's the fucking Jay-Z of NFL coach.
Yeah. He said Jay-Z. It took Jay-Z 7 years. We just got to wait 7 years and we'll be good.
Oh, geez.
7 years. You know, I'll be in my 30s by that point, but we're good. 7 years.
Yeah, and you know, that's where we're at. And like with the Jags, like they got to go D-line. Even though their D-line is actually pretty good, they got like a lot of underrated players up there.
Oh, they do.
You got to go D-line. You got to go best available when you got a talent dispersion. But, dude, one thing that really bothered me about the Jags offseason, and you know I'm a wide receiver guy. I like my wide receivers. Dude, the Christian Kirk deal was absolutely heinous. Mm-hmm. But one that maybe even overshadowed that was Zay Jones getting paid in this.
Yeah.
It reminded me, I don't want to go to an NBA reference. Like, I remember one year, Danny Dellavedova got like a 5-year, $70 million contract with the Cavs, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, they really overspent this offseason. It feels like they're just trying to put fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Like, to show that we're going to put a competent product out here. But we'll see what they do. I think
that it's not good.
Yeah. But we'll see what they do here. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they better take Aiden Hutchinson or it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Jennifer says Jags should trade this pick for more starters in depth. Bro, yeah, probably. But they're not.
Yeah, they won't. And I don't think anyone's going to want to trade up to number one. Who's going to want to – who's going to give that house?
Yeah, I know. It's just it really isn't the year, you know. And maybe if the Jets have like a heavy grade on Hutchinson and they're really scared of Thibodeau, but like you said, if Deebo Samuel's lurking out there, you better go on that. And then like Zach Wilson, what did you think? What did you think about Zach Wilson last year, or did you kind of just get lost in the sauce with him missing all those games?
Well, that, and I think the Jets were just a train wreck in general. Like, I feel like he's not the reason they lost games.
That's what
I'm saying. Having a bad team and their disgraceful defense is why they lost games, which is why I think they better take a D lineman at 4.
Well, what do you think of Thibodeau?
I think he would be a very good scheme fit for the Jets because Thibodeau is so good on stunts and like using speed to get around people. I feel like he'd be really good with them. And Robert Saleh is the kind of guy who could actually scheme up Thibodeau to create pressure. So I would really like that fit there.
Because you give me Carl Lawson and Thibodeau on the same defensive line, I'm in, bro.
Yeah, and that's a solid thing. That's a solid principle. He likes to get that D line together.
Yeah. Well,
all right, pick us in.
Definitely needs it. Okay, let's see.
They better not take Trevon Walker. They're gonna regret it.
Yeah, man. You know, the drama's building up. Building up.
I live in Jacksonville, so I'm about to get some nasty texts if they took Trevon Walker.
Because they're not gonna like anything negative.
All right, come on, Goodell. Let's go.
I know. Get it in.
Put the pick in. I'm getting reports that they took Walker.
I believe it. They always.
Oh boy.
So they did take Walker.
That's I don't. It hasn't. I haven't heard it yet, but that's what I'm seeing. You're watching the broadcast live. My TVs goes on and off every 2 seconds. So
yeah, and
they took Walker.
My broadcast isn't reliable, so they took Walker.
That's what I'm reading. If someone could confirm in the chat, just let me know.
Yes, it's nicotine. Yeah, man, they did go Walker. Thank you, Dirty Sanchez.
Oh,
Listen, you could say he has better upside than Aiden Hutchinson.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, so it's crazy how Twitter's always ahead of this.
Yeah. We'll see what Goodell says. Yo, they took Walker. That's a stupid pick right there.
Tell us why.
Trayvon Walker is a product of the scheme. When you got Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis playing next to you, and your job is just contain the edge and run stunts, you're gonna look good. I mean, you could run me or you on a stunt being next to those two like monsters of defensive tackles, and we'll get some pressure. This is a guy who's a product of the scheme. He has good numbers, he put up good numbers at the combine, but he never put that together on the field. I saw him get pushed over way too much last year. He doesn't have the best pass rush repertoire. I don't like this pick. I would have easily taken Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson almost has double the production as Walker. I don't get this pick, and I feel like the Jags are going to regret this. This is a very Jaguars pick.
It does seem like the Jaguars, and you just can't trust them.
That's a shame.
But isn't this kind of like our Jaguars? It is what you get from them. And listen, I'm always wanting to come and defend a gamble, but I think this is a bit too much for them.
Lions pick is in. The Lions know what to do. They sprinted to get that pick in for Hutchinson.
Yeah, well, dude, and Dan Campbell, he has a philosophy and he knows what he's going to do. And by the way, I don't think the Lions are going to take a quarterback at 32 or whatever people are saying. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that Hutchinson is going to do for the Lions is that he's actually going to provide them with a little bit of run defense, which they really needed.
Yeah.
I can't believe they took Walker, dude. That's a shame.
Dude, what's up, Ernie G? Yeah, and really, the Jags do remind me of the, Clippers from the early 2000s, 90s when Donald Sterling was there. Yeah, dude, they're trying to get rid of vaping everywhere. They're going hard on it.
All right, let's see these highlights.
Yeah, let's see them.
Oh, yeah, okay. The other thing, too, is, how many times did Trayvon Walker actually get double-teamed? How many times was he actually the focus of the opposing offense?
Good point. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, man.
That's a very bad pick.
And like you mentioned, the talent he played with, and you got a really nasty coach like Kirby Smart, man. Sometimes you have to add that in. And one thing with Aiden Hutchinson, who did he really have to ball with? Not saying Michigan's like Tulane or anything along those lines, but I'm sure you kind of know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I will say this. Look, I mean, I know numbers mean nothing. NFL Combine numbers don't mean a whole lot, but
they do to these teams. They
do. But at least the upside is there. So you could say, hey, in 3 years, he could be really good. I mean, I guess that's how you look at this, but this is not a good impact pick. You don't take players who are developing with the first overall pick.
You don't, and they can't afford to. They just can't afford to. But yeah, man, it is what the Jags are. It is. It is.
All right, controls up. Here we go.
Yeah, let's see what they get. Has to be Aiden Hutchinson, right?
Has to be. Yep, Aiden Hutchinson. Great pick by the Lions right there.
Yeah, dude, I really liked it because he kind of fits Dan Campbell's style. And one thing, the Jets were worse than Detroit on defense last year, but I really don't know if there was a worse team on paper defensively last year than the Detroit Lions. Yeah, they played hard and they got better as the year went on, but they were so talent-starved and so speed-starved. And and they needed a pass rush. Dude, they haven't had a pass rush in like 6-7 years.
Ever since Sue
we've
left.
seen them spend money, bro.
Ever since Sue left, I mean, even before that, their pass rush has completely dropped off, and maybe now they finally got something to help that out.
Dude, I'm excited about the Lions. Lions have won a lot of off seasons in my lifetime. And so I don't like getting too excited, but I really love this one. But it's just like the Jags with the assist. And I don't want to hate on the Jags too much. I used to have a lot of subscribers who were Jags fans, but I just think they kind of tune out of football and just they go to optimism. One thing you always see when we're at like April, May, everyone's optimistic. Zay Jones can develop. Christian Kirk's the number one. You get that type of stuff.
Yeah, they do not get a lot of hype around here. And I'll tell you this, their games are not fun to go to. There are very few fans there, and it's always like 90 degrees and just, burning hot while you're there.
Yeah, I went to a game there when they were good, and the atmosphere was just dead, man.
Yeah, it's not a good stadium.
It was
not a good fan environment. I was really hoping they would get a chance to finally turn this defense around tonight, because if you had gotten Aiden Hutchinson and you line him up next to Josh Allen, that's a good pass rushing duo right there. But they just completely threw that opportunity out the window.
Yeah,
the Jags suck, Eli.
Yeah, I want to see what the Jags do. I want to see what the Jets do. Jets are on the clock.
Texans are on the clock.
Texans got you. Finally, I just got back my stream. Okay, so we got Houston on the clock. Do you go Sauce Gardner here, or do you go Stingley? Or do you go?
I have no clue what they're going to do, to be honest.
Well, this was the wild card of the whole mock draft. If you had to put a gun in my head, I'm saying they go Sauce Gardner because they need to get more athletic. But Stingley's interesting. Who do you think's better, Stingley?
I think Gardner's better because when I look at corners, here's my deal. I think consistency is a big thing. And when you look at Derek Stingley's really good 2019 season, it's not like he didn't play bad the other 2 years, but didn't play up to that level. I mean, 2019 Stingley, with that LSU defense, when they were playing really well, I mean, he was playing probably at the level of Jalen Ramsey when he was in college. That's how good he was. He legit could have been a top 3 pick, which he still might be a top 3 pick. We don't know yet. But at that point, he was really balling. Then the next 2 years, injuries and just LSU going through hell really kind of just put him back.
Yeah.
All right, Houston's pick is in. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I don't know what they're going to get.
Well, and there are even people saying Houston might go quarterback. No. I feel like I know we made him a joke last year, but we at least gave him his credit. Davis Mills deserves a chance to play.
He does.
He really does, man.
I think he played well enough down the. Yeah, he played well enough down the stretch to the point where I think he's earned the right to have that job for this year.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and about the Lions, and what everyone on the chat is saying, at least they have a philosophy.
At least they have a plan.
I don't know if there's a plan with the Jags. I guess I should keep jumping back to that. With the Texans, God only knows the plan with Lovie Smith. I didn't like that. I didn't like releasing the other head coach, too. I felt like he did a good job considering the circumstances.
I agree.
But
yeah,
I got Mel Kiper on now. The NFL Network stream died on me, so I got Mel Kiper.
Yeah, I know my TV is shutting on and off, dude.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
I got
just
on my phone.
It's just lower it a little bit, just because the back. Yeah, I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. No one's complaining about it, but Dirty Sanchez says Houston goes wide receiver, and man, I wouldn't be mad about that if they like one of these dudes.
All right, can you still hear it?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Can you still hear it on your?
Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, man. This pick's like the pick was in like 5 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Like sometimes the NFL.
What does
intentionally
Goodell
slows
do on
it
this
down.
walk up to the stage?
They
Like, dude,
intentionally slow it down.
I just want to say, like, dude, if I were Roger Goodell and I had all these picks in my hand that we were waiting the whole offseason to hear, I would be sprinting up that podium.
Because,
There'd
like
be
you said, either way, it's going to end up stalling with all the trades and all the confusion once we get to 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Selection is in.
They're saying Stingley's the pick.
Stingley.
Yep, Derek Stingley. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Corner's extremely important, and if they didn't love Thibodeau or Jermaine Johnson at defensive end, I'm not gonna worry about it. And their defensive line last year was actually kind of underrated. I'm not saying it's good by any means, but
it was solid. Mm-hmm. All right, and now you're at 4 with the Jets. I think that this is a no-brainer. You gotta get Thibodeau in here, right?
Yeah, they need the athleticism, right? Mm-hmm. Unless, like you said, this Deebo Samuel thing is alive. For me, with how desperate the Jets are, and listen, I'm going to say something I already said to you. I get a little bit sick when I look at what Justin Fields has to throw to and what Zach Wilson have to throw to. So if they want to go wide receiver, I wouldn't smudge my nose at it.
Yeah.
But dude, they kind of.
I think they need to wait till 10 to do that.
I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to get a wide receiver in here somehow.
I agree. So let me ask you this: who are your top receivers? Like, who do you think could actually be like a number 1 receiver come out of this class?
Because for me, the number 1. Oh yeah, you go first. I have a guy who's going to surprise.
My main 2 are Garrett Wilson and Jameson Williams, just because of his speed. I don't know how that's going to be after the torn ACL, but those are my 2 definite guys. Treylon Burks, I could see as well. I don't like Drake London too much. I don't like
Drake London's going to be a bust.
Yeah, he very easily could be. The way he's won at college will not win him matchups in the NFL. You're not going to just moss every NFL corner.
Dude, because people are making him out like he's Mike Evans, and I'm just not seeing it, and I'm not seeing too much explosion from the kid, and he's also not that strong. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, bro, it's Jameson. Here's my top 3, like who I would be looking at. I'm not saying the 2 dudes from Ohio State can't play, but if I'm in this position, I'm looking at potential and who can be a number 1. I actually really like George Pickens from Georgia, which is surprising. Really inconsistent. I get it. And then I really like Burks from Arkansas. Like, I feel like Burks, he has something special, and he's got a dog in him. I don't know what it is about Burks. Like, they said his 40 time wasn't all that good. Yeah, dogs, let's go, man. Let's go, Georgia Dogs.
Yeah.
But
he did get screwed over by the knee injury, though. I think that really hurt him.
Yeah,
like the way he
might be the safest one to pick.
I think Wilson's the safest one.
He's a good route runner. Him and Olave can run routes.
They both are. Talk about a good wide receiver core.
I know, shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like so, Jets got options here. But dude, like you said with Saleh's scheme, they're kind of roped in here to pick Thibodeau. Unless they know something about Thibodeau, though. Like, he's made some enemies. Because, like, we've seen...
Yeah, because he won't shut his mouth.
What did he say specifically that pissed everyone off?
He said something about crypto. He compared himself to Jadeveon Clowney, which I don't think is someone you want to compare yourself to. Like, no. And he said something like he didn't want to go to Alabama because he didn't want to have to fight for his starting job. Like, dude, if you would just shut your mouth, you would probably be like... I don't know if his stock is going to drop, but, I mean, you would guaranteed be a top 5 pick if you would just shut up.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't get – all right, pick is in. We'll see. No trades yet.
And then there were questions about his motor. Mm-hmm. That could have been the difference why the Lions went Hutchinson above him. Yeah. And, dude, there's even a possibility Jermaine Johnson can go above him. I love
Jermaine Johnson.
But Thibodeau's like athleticism is like he reminds me of Josh Allen when he was coming out of the Jaguars. It's not the white quarterback.
Dude, Jermaine Johnson, look, he's not the most polished pass rusher. He didn't, honestly, before the Senior Bowl, he was probably projected as a day 2 pick. But, man, that kid has a heart. I mean, he will fight to the end to get pressure. I love watching him play. Even though he's not the best player and he's not the most refined, the effort that he plays with, I mean, I loved him at Florida State.
Yeah, and some people are saying maybe even Jordan Davis at 4 for the Jets. I guess my issue is they just need they need a pass rush, or they could go Sauce Gardner, and I would be happy, and then address wide receiver at pick 10.
Well, and I'm also wondering. So I wonder if anyone's going to try to make a move to trade up for Sauce. That was something we've heard throughout the process, that someone could try to, that the Eagles or Minnesota could try to make a push to get a corner.
Yeah, and with the Jets. They never really addressed this offensive line throughout the years. Mm-hmm. So who's your best offensive lineman in the draft? Not to put you on the spot.
It's honestly, like, with the O-lineman, I think it's who you prefer. So if you're going for potential, if you want a guy who could probably be like a top 10, top 5 offensive lineman in the next like 5 years or so, I'd go Evan Neal. If you're looking for the guy who's going to be the mauler in the trenches, go Ike Ekwonu. And if you're looking for like the most polished pass protector coming out, I'd go Charles Cross. If none, I'm a Panthers fan, so this is what I'm shooting for. I'm hoping to get an O-lineman. If none of the linemen have been taken by number 6, I am hoping to get Evan Neal.
I got you.
And that would be a great pick.
Evan Neal's the best on mine, but the guy I would probably go with, there's just something about Trevor Penning I really like. Like, he plays with an edge, bro. Why don't you?
I don't like Trevor Penning. Watch him at the Senior Bowl. He got wrecked, and he just has so much technical problems. He's always getting penalties. Like, I don't think he's very well disciplined at all. Like, I'm just not a fan of him. And he didn't really play any tough competitions. He used to look good when you're just laying out people my age and my size.
Yeah, well, you know, the MAC or wherever the fuck he played isn't necessarily – Northern Iowa's not even MAC. What is that? Like, I used to know all these by heart. Horizon League.
Yeah.
I believe so, right? Someone correct me. Yes, hit the like button. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Marcy. Okay, Jets pick is in.
Here we go.
It's interesting. Goodell's coming up.
Sauce Gardner at 4. Wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy for him though, because he's really entertaining. And the Jets need some entertainment for sure.
I'm just surprised that Saleh signed off on taking a corner over defensive lineman. Thibodeau is falling.
Yeah, and wouldn't you have liked to be in that room, you know, with the GM and Saleh? I wonder what Saleh said.
Yeah. I mean, Saleh's always been a guy with San Francisco. He was known, like, you know, we're going to have a good pass rush, and we're going to play cover 3, and we're going to roll with that. This is not typical Saleh right here.
No. And Sauce Gardner, like, he plays big. I mean, that's one good thing about him. But like you said, it's just the Jets, it's hard to even judge their pass coverage. Because once Carl Lawson went down last year, it was 40, 50 points a game against them and no pressure and couldn't stop the run.
And they could have had with Lawson, Quentin Williams, and, you know, Thibodeau, like, that would have been a pretty good defensive line that Saleh could make things happen with.
Yeah, and now we're to the Giants, and
I think this is where we see the line go off.
I think they're going to go safe. But, you know, I say this about the Patriots, but I've changed my mind. And it's not saying if you have an unathletic team, you're not going to win. But I think the Giants have one of the most unathletic rosters in this league. And you got a dog like Thibodeau sitting there. It's hard to pass, although they can't block a lick. Yeah. And I don't want to come out here and defend Daniel Jones. But I said it in the preseason last year. The line isn't up to NFL standards or quality.
And it was clear how much Daniel Jones was having a positive effect on that team after he went down. After Daniel Jones went down, the Giants fell apart. Like, they were one of the worst teams I've ever seen play after Daniel Jones went down.
Dude, when Joe
they were
was running fucking 4 quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 11.
They were underratedly bad. They weren't crapped on enough this offseason for what they pulled on during the last month of the season.
I know, and like it's fine. Like, everyone wants to bust on Cleveland. You got the Jags to bust on. I mean, there's lots of dumpster fires in this league, but I don't think there's one that's bigger than the Giants at this point.
Not right now. I mean, at least they fired Joe Judge.
Like, dude, even the Texans, they weren't trying to win, and they got in the right direction through heart, dedication, and a little bit of guile in the later rounds. What have the Giants fucking done? And they max out the cap every year. Who do they got that's a dog? No one.
Yeah, and
Saquon Barkley. I'm sick of hearing about fucking Saquon Barkley. Get Daniel Jones a few offensive linemen.
And it's sad, too, because they've invested quite a bit in this offensive line the last, 3 or 4 years, and it's just amounted to nothing.
Nothing.
Like, it's
still... They have made 3 big signings.
Yeah, they signed Nate Soldier a while ago. They got Andrew Thomas. They got Will Hernandez. I mean, it's not – I don't know what they're doing, but it's just not working out.
They don't even know if Nate Solder can move over and play right tackle this year. He's so bad.
Yeah.
And they're guaranteed money locked in on him. Can't even release him to get him out of the locker room. Giants pick is in.
It's in? Okay. My stream is really behind.
Dirty Sanchez says, I do security on the side. A Giants player lives in one of the buildings I'm stationed at. His diet consists of pizza and booze. I would not be surprised.
You need a lot of this if you're on the Giants.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Which I gotta pop this open. For the Panthers pick.
Yeah. We'll see, because it's gonna get good. Carolina's coming up, man.
I know. Well, I'm getting nervous, dude.
I really felt like the draft started at this Jets pick. Like, once the Jets made this pick, the dominoes are going to go in a wide variety of directions.
Well, after the Jags took Walker, that really just – I mean, that screwed everything up. And, I mean, your mock is done. No offense, bro, but your mock is done now.
Oh, it's been brutalized.
Yeah, we're 5 picks in. And, years past, like, we would go like, probably getting 7 out of the first 10 picks, right? At this point, we're lucky to get 1. Like, dude, this is probably the hardest mock draft.
People get
the last 2 years we've been great, but this has been like one of the hardest mock drafts I've ever had to make.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I just couldn't. I'm really kind of mad about number 1. I just couldn't see the Jags going with Walker. Even though the rumors were building up to that, like. Didn't they really start like 4 or 5 days ago? But they've been building up every day. I just didn't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm shocked they did it. Rumors were saying, like, there were a number of sources saying their GM was in love with Walker. And I think that's just a guy who's just reading the numbers and not actually watching the film.
Yeah. Media dudes, quit saying Danny Dimes. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
That
ship has sailed.
Dimes when you're on the back,
That ship has sailed, dude.
Yeah, that's been long gone. Okay, Giants pick is in. We got a hype man up here.
Well, what the heck?
What's going on here, man?
I don't know. It's a Make-A-Wish kid.
Oh, got you.
All right, buddy. Announce the pick already. Quit hyping us up. Let's go.
I know, it's fine. Like, just give him a few autographs and.
Could we not have done this while the Giants were picking? Like, come on, let's go.
I agree. Dude, like, come on, man.
Well, what is it? What's the first pick?
You're killing my vibe.
Oh my gosh, Goodell, shut up.
I know. Man,
here you go. Oh my gosh. Kayvon Thibodeau, look at that.
Yeah.
So now
I agree with that.
I like it. Get as much talent as you can. Wow,
Yeah,
I did
maybe
not
they
see him going there.
No, I didn't. It's interesting though.
All right.
And one thing the Giants haven't been as interesting for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the Thibodeau pick.
All right, Carolina on the clock. Here we go.
Well, this could save my mock draft if Willis goes.
Don't joke about that. We're not taking him.
I don't know. Matt Rule he really is like a wild card.
If
you just don't know what you're going to get.
He is an unpredictable entity. I will say that much.
And Tupper, dude, if Matt Rule sells Tupper, that this kid is dynamite.
Oh God,
Tupper's the type of dude who'll throw the dice in the middle and see where it lands.
I'm also curious if Carolina tries to trade down, because they, like I said, they have no picks after this pick until day 3. So if they don't trade down here, they're not picking again until Saturday. So I'm really curious if this is where we see our first trade.
Yeah, because we were talking about that, and if you look at the Panthers, they've actually been pretty good at picking in the 2nd and 3rd rounds.
Yep.
It wouldn't be something I would be opposed to. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't think they have the guile to do it. But now the market's starting to heat up because, like you said, you got like 2 elite linemen on the board, and there's a lot of teams in this league that need tackles.
It was really smart by the Giants to actually not take a lineman at 5 because they're all still there. So you could, even if Carolina takes a lineman now, they can still come back at 7 and say, hey, Carolina took Evan Neal. Now we can take Ike Ekwonu. We can take Charles Cross, whoever they prefer. Because it was not anticipated. I would have thought we would have had an O-lineman taken by now.
Yeah. I don't like Thibodeau's suit, though. I don't know if you saw the suit.
We're in a couple outfits tonight already that I've been cringing at.
Yeah. Dude, this Make-A-Wish kid is cringe.
I know. That guy was really cringe.
Yeah. Like,
I'm not one to judge, but
this is when you see people take their, like, first-round draft break, like, because you sit here for, like, 50 minutes. This is normally when people, like, get up and say, all right, I'm going to, maybe turn on some baseball. What did you think about the soccer team in Carolina actually competing with the NFL team in attendance?
It goes to show how bad the Panthers are.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's actually true. I have heard they're doing well, but the Panthers have had pretty good attendance rates over the last couple of years. It's just they're not all from Carolina. That's what it is. Because we're getting overrun by other fan bases because Tepper hasn't given the fans anything to believe in.
Yeah, they're showing Malik Willis.
Oh God, he's on the phone. Is he? Please no.
Kenny Pickett's got a stunning girlfriend.
All right, so look, the pick isn't in yet, so that tells me they're trying to trade down.
It's good.
Yeah, I hope they
Even
trade
if
down.
they don't get full value, you got to live with it because it's not a quarterback-heavy draft. So I don't want that to dissuade them.
The other thing too. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
Well, if they do trade down, like let's say they go to like 10, they could still get an O-lineman, like one of these top 3 O-linemen at 10.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do. I would be trying to trade. I would try to trade down to 12, trade down to 10. Maybe get in the teens if you can, and just take the best O-lineman on the board if there's still one there. If there's no lineman there, take a quarterback. But
and speaking of a team that should trade down, okay, because Carolina could go a wide variety of ways here, okay, and really switch things up. Giants are at 7. And if there's a team that needs to get, as much new blood in there and trade down and get an extra pick or 2, it's them. But
yeah, they could use it. They should do what Philly did and just swap first-round picks and get another. All right, the pick is in. No trade down.
Let's see where it goes, dude.
Come on, Evan Neal.
I'm
Come on.
about it.
If this is Kenny Pickett, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on Kenny Pickett, but it would feel like a force pick.
Yeah.
And people in the chat are saying Panthers go offensive lineman. They're thinking they're going to go there.
Yeah. Do me a favor. I'm not going to look at the chat. Please don't spoil the pick. I want live reaction.
It's not definitive information, so we'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I'm excited, and this NFC South it could get interesting. Brady coming back, it kind of kills the drama a little bit, but I do think the Bucs need to really rejuvenate. And I don't think signing Justin Gage from the Falcons is the rejuvenation I was thinking.
I was ready for this division to be a joke again after Tom Brady retired, and then he so much for that.
To force Bruce Arians out.
Yeah.
Which, people trying to say it wasn't a force Bruce Arians out. They're living on another planet.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we kind of sense it last year? It's just because Bruce, he has a style, and that style doesn't really win big games. And that's why you've seen the Buccaneers blown out. And then I think once it gets to playoff time, Brady takes over. And then it goes Brady's way.
All right, pick is in. Let's see.
Man. We're seeing a Goodyear blimp.
I'm on commercial, and I'm not getting it. I haven't heard who it is yet. If it's in the chat, don't spoil me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. So ESPN's kind of saying I
don't want to hear it. I'm trying to get a live reaction.
No, they didn't even say the pick. I won't spoil it for you, but they're like pretty much saying, Panthers got to trade down here. It's just using stats like that. They'll both be available later in the draft.
Well, the pick is in, so they're picking here.
Yeah.
Look, if it's me, I'm taking Evan Neal, and I'm rolling with Sam Darnold.
What's up, Jennifer? What's up, Freshness? Sorry to cut you off, my man.
Yeah, you're good. I'm not even dipping my toes in this quarterback market at all.
Yeah.
Where's this
because there's nothing worse than a force pick. Yeah, I know. What's Goodell doing?
Come on, Goodell.
It doesn't seem like there's a hint of Malik Willis. Kenny Pickett's girlfriend's on the phone, so it doesn't look like he's getting much action from the Panthers.
Please, I do not. If we take Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett really is like I said, the quintessential second, third round grinder. Mm-hmm. You got to love the grinders, but, we're at pick number 6.
Yeah.
Don't want to be disrespectful, Bob.
Wait.
Okay, pick is in. They keep showing it.
Come on, let's go, Goodell.
Pick was in before the commercial break, and we're sitting here 5 minutes after.
Here we go.
All right, let's see.
Oh, my TV cut out. God damn it.
Okay.
Don't spoil it.
They haven't made the pick yet.
I'm watching on the phone.
Okay, got you.
I'm scared to see this. Watch on the phone.
Got you. They finally got it in.
Aquanu, let's go. Okay, there we go. I'll take that. Oh, yeah. Thank God.
I like the Nigerian print on his suit.
Oh, thank you, Matt Rule. Thank you for not taking a quarterback. Oh.
Yeah, it's good. Dude, but at least
bullet dodged.
At least you're not spilling your beer for another reason. But at least you're not going to do a force pick. There's nothing worse than a force pick, especially when we're talking about a quarterback, okay? If we're talking about a defensive tackle at pick 20 in the first round, dude, sometimes you got to do it. Free agency can't replenish all of your needs, but there's nothing worse than a force pick at quarterback. Seen the Bills do this for 15 years until they got Josh Allen.
Denver's the king of it.
So what do you think? Is he going to come in and start day one? I would hope so.
I would put him at guard because you can see these highlights. He lays people out. But the deal is sometimes, from what I've seen, he likes to almost like lean into his opponent too much. He likes to over pursue and rely too much on
this highlight. He's just completely implanted a guy into the ground.
Yeah, I know. He's nasty. He's a very physical run blocker. But his pass protection on the edge of the tackle, I have questions about. I remember particularly in the Florida State game, he got absolutely destroyed. They seem to know exactly what to do to exploit him, and that will be an issue in the NFL. I would start him at guard first, just to make sure he's good, make sure his pass blocking is good, and just like rely on his nastiness to push people forward in the run game. But overall, I love this pick. This is something
you guys needed someone nasty on the O-line.
Yeah, we haven't had. Dude,
you need two or three nasty dudes on the O-line, even if they're not the most best in technique.
Mm-hmm. Well, we signed Bradley Bozeman from the Ravens. He's good. We signed Austin Corbett from the Rams. He's solid. I mean, and now we just took Ekwonu. So that's a pretty good O-line now. Like, we've really overhauled this O-line this offseason. And who knows? Maybe the Panthers will actually block someone this year. But
and maybe Christian McCaffrey will stay healthy.
Yeah, maybe he'll actually not meet 300-pound rushers.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't know. I don't know. Something's up with Christian McCaffrey, man.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I know people. The thing with McCaffrey is that, like, and I know this is going to sound like a fan take, but all of his injuries have been like flukes. Like, they would have broken anyone's leg. Like, if a 300-pound defensive lineman falls right on your ankle, that's going to break your ankle. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's the same injury. Like, it's not like a reoccurring injury. It's not like Cam's shoulder, where Cam Newton's shoulder was giving him problems for years, and it was causing people saying he's washed up. McCaffrey's just getting random stuff that's killing his season. And the Panthers aren't helping him, like, aren't doing him any favors because they feed him the rock 25, 30 times a game.
Well, he is a battering ram. And I think that's one reason why Deebo Samuel wants a new contract, or he's going to get the hell out of there because look at the way they use him in the playoffs.
Yeah. And he wants – I mean, that would make sense. I mean, I know Samuel, the reason he wanted out of there is because he wants to be used more as a receiver and not as a running back. But
the Giants pick is in. Where do you think they're going here?
I think
they're – Go on.
I think O-lineman. I think Evan Neal comes off the board here.
I think they should go Evan Neal. I wouldn't snub my nose at Kyle Hamilton. We didn't talk about him yet. Everyone thinks he's going to slide. A team like the Giants, you're at the point where you go best player available if you don't love an offensive lineman. What do you think about Kyle Hamilton, just overall?
I wouldn't start him at free safety, but I think he's a good strong safety, or he could be a good linebacker.
Dude,
because he's a tackling machine.
Hybrid linebacker, man.
He needs to just be put in like the robber role where he can just kind of free roam, and then there I think he'll be really good. But I don't like him,
especially since teams have copied. I don't know if the Panthers used it a lot last year, but Panthers were in like a college 3-3-5 scheme.
Yeah, they would use like
perfect for that.
Mm-hmm. They would use a 3 safety deep concept and just let Chin free roam. All right, here we go. Goodell's making the pick.
Giants. Thank you.
Evan Neal, there it is.
Okay.
Good pick. That's a good job, Giants.
They certainly got a little bit better with these two picks.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, these are probably the two best players on the board. Evan Neal and Thibodeau. Yeah, this is what I would do. If you're not, I'm shocked we haven't seen a trade yet. I would have thought one of these teams with 2 first-rounders would have come up by now.
But maybe this is kind of what you're saying. Okay, first thing we talked about was wide receivers. Second thing we talked about was just the immense depth in this draft, even though there's no sexy quarterback. And maybe that's playing a part. But you got to think we're going to get some trades. Like you said, dude, everyone likes Garrett Wilson. Once he gets off this board and Jameson Williams gets off this board, or if one gets off the board, don't you think teams are going to price in that too?
I agree. I think once we see a wide receiver go, that's when the floodgates are going to open, and that's when we're really going to start to see trades. Because the other thing too is pretty much everyone from 10 to 20 could use another wide receiver. Like, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility for any of those teams to take a receiver.
In this league, we've been trying to say that on this podcast for 5 years, that you can never have too many wide receivers, and everyone says you're stupid if you pick a guy when you already have 2 dogs.
I mean, look at Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is great example of that.
Well,
another thing.
Go on.
Well, another thing I'm curious to see tonight, and just because it's happened so much over the last couple of years and it's been so entertaining, I wonder if an NFC East team is going to trade up or take a player just to screw over another NFC East team. Because I love that kind of rivalry where you're just taking players to screw another team over.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm here for.
And so now we got Atlanta. And if you're Atlanta, you got a lot of needs. I think their biggest need is offensive line, but no one seems to be thinking they're going to go that way. Like, I really think Atlanta's biggest need is offensive line, but I think their second biggest need has to either be defensive line or wide receiver. Am I off?
Do you think there's any chance they go quarterback?
No.
You don't think so?
Do you think so? I don't think so.
Well,
no one really talked about it, and it makes sense.
The way I look at it, you have Marcus Mariota. You give Malik Willis a chance to sit. You can build the talent around him in the meantime. And Mariota, like, I know you like him. I know you call him Magic Man Mariota, but he's pretty injury prone.
Yeah, so he's really inconsistent.
So
he's
I don't know
what backup.
Yeah, he is.
He really
he's good for a couple games, but he's not good for long term.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man, and that's where we're at. And with the Falcons, I want to see their grade on Jermaine Johnson. If I was a fly on the wall, I would like to see what they think of Jermaine Johnson on these 2 wide receivers, because that could be a tough. Okay, go on.
I wonder if D tackles in the mix here as well. That's something I would very much consider.
Dude, like last year, it got really frustrating with the lack of physicality on the offensive line and defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually didn't play that bad ball last year, but any team that had a physical defensive line or vice versa, a physical offensive line, just completely blew them the fuck out, and it wasn't even competitive.
Yeah.
I gotta plug my charger in 1 second.
I'm with you. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, go get another beer.
Yeah, I'm still working on number 1. I'm trying not to drink too much tonight.
All right, here we go.
Shoot. All right.
All right, dude. Picks in.
Yeah.
Picks in. Curious.
Honestly,
this has a lot of variables.
I mean, you talk about a team that is that needs a lot of help. Atlanta's the example of that.
Yeah, man. I like the head coach, though.
I do too.
He had a good year last year.
Yeah, he's a good play caller, but that team just got worse. Like, it's not his fault that the team got worse, but I mean, he could easily be on the hot seat this year and next year just because the record's not as good. When in reality, I don't. Yeah. Oh, did they?
Oh, they got Drake London.
Drake London. I told you he was going early.
It's a bust.
I love this pick. Yeah, keep Atlanta down.
And dude, like, I don't think he has quick feet.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't run fast, and he's not all that strong. He's just he's big. But in the NFL, aren't we to the point where we got a ton of big defensive backs, and it's more about high pointing a football. Like D-Hop is only like 6'1", and he wins aerial battles because he's good at high pointing the football. That's where I'm at. I don't see him as a natural receiver. They're comparing him like to Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans on fucking ESPN.
Like I said, I think he's more Kelvin Benjamin than Mike Evans. Because I don't think he has speed. I don't think you can out jump people in college when you're facing 5'9" corners, but when you get to the NFL and you actually play big dudes who are going to hit you back and who are actually going to jump up for the ball, it doesn't make things, that easy.
Well, and I don't watch a lot of Pac-12 or whatever it is, Pac-14. They keep adding teams, but that's no SEC. And
no,
they don't got the dogs, especially in the secondary and defensive line there. I'm pretty sure that's still a fact.
Like you're saying, it's easy to wreck Notre Dame, but what do you do when you actually play good corners?
Yeah, and I don't think a whole lot. I think this will be the bust of the first round.
I agree.
I'm surprised he's the number one receiver off the board. Like, is this like Arthur Miller's just saying, okay, we need a big guy like I had with AJ Brown, and just like
he wants his next Julio Jones, and I don't think he's going to get it.
But this guy can't run.
No, he can't.
And I don't. I'm not even like a big 40-time guy. It's just like I said, the lack of flutter and quickness in the feet. It just isn't good enough to me.
He just looks stiff. He just looks stiff.
That's what I'm saying. And anyways, we got Seattle. Pandora's box is open right now because there's so many different ways they can go, and just thinking about it makes my head fucking spin.
I'd take Charles Cross here. It's how many years have they needed to invest in this O-line?
Forever. That might be one of the reasons why Russell wanted to leave.
I know. It'd be actually kind of ironic if they took him. Because Russell Wilson would love this pick if they took Charles Cross now. But still no trades, so.
Yeah. Then there's been talk DK Metcalf's on the market. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily buy into that.
I don't either. No.
And then like Seattle, I had them mocked with Jermaine Johnson. I wouldn't be surprised if they went that way. They need to get a defensive end as well, but there's just so many holes on the team at this point.
Yeah. And I wouldn't hate Jermaine Johnson here. It's not what I would do. I would try to get that O-line going, give Drew Lock an actual chance to succeed, even though that's unlikely anyway. But I'd go Cross here or trade down.
Yeah. And I might have asked you this earlier, but, man, I don't think Seattle gambles on a quarterback here, although they could be in the market when you talk about guys like Drew Lock. And then also, like, do you think they gamble on Baker Mayfield? Not talking about this pick, them trading anything for Baker Mayfield. He's not going to be worth a first-round pick. But do you think there's a possibility they gamble on Baker Mayfield, or they just want nothing to do with it?
I think that if they draft a quarterback, I think that's going to be their only avenue. But I could see him taking Willis. But, dude, you want to talk – what team had a worse offseason than Seattle? Like, maybe Atlanta, you could argue. They lost a lot of people as well, but –
yeah. It wasn't really their fault that they lost Calvin Ridley,
I think the Seahawks made an astronomical mistake picking Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That's where they went wrong.
Dude, and like I'm a huge Pete Carroll guy, but the last 2 years, I've been saying for 3 years that he kind of should have went and did something else. Like, I'm not saying retire from coaching, because if he went to like a place like USC or a Notre Dame, whatever, he could recruit these dudes and still be a good coach. His time with the NFL has ended.
It's stale.
It is stale. And there's a lot of stale teams in this league. And I'm just surprised the Seahawks let them get themselves to this point. Now, are they going to be in a tanking endeavor this year? Because it seems like it.
I think Pete Carroll's good enough of a coach to keep him out of being the number 1 overall pick.
Me
but
too.
They do need help, and they're not going to be good this year. They'll probably be last in the NFC West. Yeah, not a fan of Seattle's offseason.
No, and they're at least no. I don't even know, man. With Arizona, Seattle's going to be last in that division, and there's no real advantage they have over any team in that division. They don't even match up good with the Cardinals.
Well, I mean, look, they don't have a quarterback, and they don't have a good O-line. That's 2 things you really need in that division.
Dirty Sanchez says Malik Willis here.
Pick is in.
Yeah, I want to see what they do.
I don't think Malik Willis would be that bad.
I don't. When you're staring down the barrel of Drew Lock and Geno Smith, if Geno Smith's still on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta take a shot at a quarterback here, and if you're trying to compete in the NFC West, and you need a good quarterback to compete in the NFC West, and I think Malik Willis gives you the best shot to do that.
Yeah, and they really didn't they got a 2nd-round pick, which, especially with the depth of this draft, is fucking really good. Mm-hmm. But in 2022, they got a 2nd and 5th round for Russell. And then in 2023, they get 1st and 2nd round picks. Like, I like Noah Fant, but what does that really help when you don't got a quarterback? Like,
for sure.
Noah Fant should
Poor Noah Fant, man.
Yeah.
Poor Noah Fant.
Because he could be really useful with the proper team. He really could.
And not only are you stuck with Drew Lock throwing you the ball, but you've also had pretty average offensive lines next to you. So you're not getting really any help in that department.
Yeah, it's just.
Am I lagging at all?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, man, and we got Seattle Pickers in there. They're really running this clock down.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more Goodell taking a sweet time than
because they line up the commercials. NFL Draft is a big event now. I mean, okay. I remember when in the first round it used to be fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a heck of that. Charles Cross, there we go. Good pick. I like it.
They got Charles Cross.
Yep.
Yeah, it like you said, there is a little bit of irony there. Did you think Charles Cross was possibly the best offensive lineman in this draft?
He's the best. He's the best pass protector in this draft. I think easily. I mean, I've already talked about my concerns in pass protection with Ekwonu, and Neal's kind of the same. But I mean, I could easily see Charles Cross pulling like a Rashawn Slater, where he's not the most hyped up dude coming in the draft, but ends up being the best rookie lineman, just because he's got all the technical stuff down. He may not be he might not have the potential of Ekwonu or of Neal, but he's the most ready to play at the moment. And I think that's something that you should value.
And like you said, it's just like one thing with the left tackle that I want good feet.
Yes, and he has that.
And he seems to have good feet. He's not the biggest guy, but he can bulk up. Like, I heard people questioning that, like, he's only 305. Like, all right, bro, like, let's calm down a little bit. It's not the 80s anymore. Like, these a lot of these defensive ends, like, you look at, like, just to throw out one guy in Carolina who left tackles struggle with at times. Brian Burns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Brian Burns, they wouldn't have put him in at defensive end in the fucking late 90s.
Oh, heck no.
It's so different. So, like, you got to have a guy who's versatile and who can kick back,
And I never understood the narrative that Charles Cross was a bad run blocker. Like that, I never picked up on that. I mean, he's not as dominant as Neal or Ekwonu is in the run game, but he's not bad. He's not a liability.
Well, and how the fuck is Mississippi State gonna run the ball against Alabama and Georgia when they got like 7 first-round picks in the front 7?
And no help on the team either. It's not like Mississippi State is like, a school for O-linemen.
Yeah, and they
They're
got
not Bama.
dogs, but they got like 5 or 6 dogs, and Alabama has 28. Like that's just where Alabama's at right now.
All right, well, here's a good point. Dirty Sanchez, I'd like to see the Jets trade for Debo here. I mean, this is where you're going to do it if you're trading for Debo Samuel.
They talk a big game, and they've talked a big game this whole offseason, but
yeah.
And we got a Texan fan in here, Kerry McCain. Like, dude, I actually think the Texans are going in the right direction. I just don't like the way that organization functions. Getting Lovie Smith.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
On a positive thing last year. They played tough. They played with guile. They got better.
They competed.
Yeah, and that's what you want in this league.
And you saw the development in what? Oh crap, his name's slipping. The quarterback. David Mills. You saw a quarterback in Davis Mills. You saw development there, and now you're just moving away from the things that made him successful. I don't get it.
And someone in the chat, Jerome's saying Jameson Williams, let him sit. I get it. It's just if there's any team that needs a wide receiver to go in there day one, it's Zach Wilson. Like I keep repeating, Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, they're on the verge of churning bus, not because of their play on the field. It's just who the hell you're going to throw to.
Yeah.
It just comes to that point.
I mean,
Jets pick is in, man. Jets fans are representing
here. It's Vegas.
Oh, it's fucking in Vegas. I didn't even know that. I was just so dialed into the draft. I didn't even know it was in Vegas.
I know. I didn't. I completely forgot about that too. Because the draft was supposed to be in Vegas the COVID year when we were all virtual. And that, now we're paying them for it. And then it'll be in Cleveland in like 3 years because of that. But
all right. So you think the Jets are going to go Garrett Wilson here?
That's what I would think. They're going to have Wilson to Wilson.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see how these talent evaluators look at these wide receivers. I'm really curious when Green Bay gets their opportunity.
They're saying it's Wilson.
Oh, it is. Okay. Listen, man. You can't listen, you get Thibodeau, you get Wilson. I'm fine with it. A lot of people are comparing Wilson to Stephon Diggs, which, that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe he's not that good, but I would say he's of the same type of receiver. Can run every round the route tree, is good on the outside, can work in the slot. Like I understand what you're thinking there.
Yeah, and I was just happy to see the Jets get wide receiver.
Yeah.
Because after watching their offseason, and listen, San Fran, I think they're going to be milked down to July with Debo Samuel. I don't think San Fran's going to make
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Or until it's like last minute. Because look just the way they hold on to players.
All right.
But yeah, dude, they got Sauce. My bad on that. I wanted them to get Thibodeau, but dude, and Sauce is fucking good too. He's a day one starter.
Yeah,
Wilson's a day one starter, so you can't complain.
I think the narrative was that we just expected the Jets would go defensive line as opposed to cornerback. But as far as talent goes, I think they're both similar talents. I would say, like if we're doing a big board, I would say Thibodeau might be like 3 or 4. I'd have Sauce probably in the top like 5 or 6 maybe. It's not a bad pick by any means. The Jets did good tonight.
Yeah, which isn't something you normally hear.
Yeah.
And now speaking of a team that is a dumpster fire, legal problems, a Carson Wentz trade that, didn't make a lot of sense at the outset. And then looking at how the quarterback market broke out after that trade, it doesn't make much sense now. I feel like the no-names, they're kind of painted into the corner right now, and they got to go wide receiver. They do, because, listen, McLaurin's balled out these last 2 years.
But he's no help.
No one.
I mean,
I got to get my charger for my other laptop, but make your opinion one sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think Jameson Williams could be the guy here. For talking receivers, Olave's on the board. He could be in our pick here. Back-to-back Ohio State guys. Wide receiver or safety, I would say there's a chance that Kyle Hamilton goes here. First trade of the night. Lawson left at the worst time. Saints on the clock. All right, Saints on the clock now. This could be a quarterback here. I mean, I don't see why else you would trade up unless it's for a QB. Hey, Lawson, Saints traded up.
Got the popcorn.
Did you hear me? Lawson. Saints on the clock. I'm going QB here. It's Olave. Hey, Lawson. Damn, man, put your headphones on. All right, who
did they get? Who did they get?
No. Saints traded up. Saints are on the clock.
Who did they get?
We don't know yet, but the Commanders have traded their pick to Washington. Commanders have traded their pick to New Orleans. So Saints are at 11 now. I don't know what they're doing here. Quarterback is not out of the picture. I think that could be an option. Maybe receiver if you're trying to get a good receiver and jump all these other teams.
Well, it has to be receiver, right?
I don't know. I mean, Malik is still there. Kenny Pickett is still there. I don't see why you give up 2 first-round picks if it's not for a quarterback.
They gave up 2
maybe Jameson Williams. I know Saints fans would love Jameson Williams.
They gave up next year's first-round pick?
I would assume so.
Okay,
they had
let's
picks.
Just wait to see.
Yeah.
Because that's insane.
To trade up 5 spots. It's possible. I'm waiting to see the trade.
Yo, and Dirty Sanchez is asking Saints can go Hamilton here too. Like, I was thinking that, or I thought they were going to get the big offensive lineman from Northern Iowa, but stay back at 16 and get him because they need to get someone for Tron Armstead, and he fits the MO with the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Minnesota's coming up. We'll see what they do here. Minnesota's probably going to be in the corner business.
I really think Saints could get a quarterback here. I just don't see why you trade up unless it's for a quarterback.
Yeah, and then it's going to have to be Malik Willis, right?
I'd assume so. Kenny Pickett. I mean, I like Kenny. I like Kenny Pickett more than most people, but he's no better than a mobile Andy Dalton.
Yeah, and is Kenny Pickett better than Jameis?
No, he's not.
He just isn't. And then can the Saints afford to have another quarterback on that roster? Mm-hmm. Taysom Hill, they officially moved him away from quarterback, but he's making quarterback money.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what the Saints do here. If they took Kenny Pickett, I'm going to laugh so hard.
Yeah. I actually don't mind.
I don't know what they're
moving
doing
out there, though.
No, I like that too.
It's a surprising high IQ move from Washington.
That's I mean, when we had Marty Herney and Ron Rivera, we would never trade. I don't think they knew we were allowed to trade. Like, they would just sit there and take whoever was there, and typically it'd be a bad pick.
Well, and here's the thing with I really do feel like Pickett is like the prototype 2nd, 3rd round grade, but this is a quarterback driven league and there isn't a whole lot of quarterbacks there.
The thing is, he just doesn't have an elite arm. Like he can't drive the deep outs to the sideline. He can't throw post into cover 2s. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't see him having an elite NFL arm. If you don't have an elite NFL arm, I don't see you as a top 15 quarterback.
So here's the top 5 on Kuiper's board: Kyle Hamilton, Jermaine Johnson, Jameson Williams, Daxton Hill, the safety from Michigan, Olave from Ohio State. Jermaine Johnson, I was kind of shocked by. I thought he would go top 10. But
I think, to respond to this comment, I think Joe Burrow has a better arm than Kenny Pickett does for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close.
That Burrow stuff, and you guys go back to the video.
What are the
I
Saints
was on
doing?
Burrow ever. Okay, let's see.
Pickett's in. I'm reading reports that they took Pickett, but now I'm hearing those are not true.
Yeah.
I got my phone right here, so I'm trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's like,
what a ballsy move, though.
it is ballsy.
Yeah. I really want to see the details of this trade.
Yeah, well, I'm stuck with fucking ESPN, so they're always a day late. They'll rather show
Hey, I'm on ABC.
Yeah, well,
I got it worse, bro.
Yeah, jeez. It's like I just want to get NFL Network.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. You know.
Right. Come on, Goodell. Let's announce the pick.
I know. They're showing smoke in the background of the Saints logo. It's kind of cool.
Oh my gosh! Another crap. We got another promotion or whatever.
Do they know that we don't seeing
that we don't care?
Yeah, and they're not even showing legends. They're just showing fans, and we have to see Austin Eckler and Tony Gonzalez. And
I just love that Tony Gonzalez is up here for the Saints pick.
I know, right? Does it really?
Saints on the clock, and we got the Falcons tight end up here.
Yeah.
Good job, Goodell. Good job. That's what I love to see.
And it's just, when we talk about
if Gonzalez announces this pick, I want him to troll the fuck out of the Saints.
I wish he would.
Please, come on.
Yeah, man. They're really. This is kind of even worse than the Giants wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I kind of agree with this comment. The draft sucks now. Dude, the draft's still good, but they drag this out. We're gonna be here to 1 o'clock in the morning at this rate.
I enjoyed the well, I'll tell you after this pick, but I enjoyed the 2020 draft when it was all virtual and everyone was picking from their house. That was actually really fun.
It had a good pace.
Yeah, it had a good pace. It was quick. No one got hacked. You got to see everyone's individual setup, which was very entertaining.
That was probably.
Oh my gosh! Why are we having multiple people talk? Come on, pick already.
Yeah. I love it, but it's gets to a point where
All right, come on, Saints. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett.
So we're promoting Amazon Prime Video. Thursday night, week 2, Chargers against the Chiefs. That's kind of interesting. That's a good game. What do you think about the NFL going to Amazon Prime?
I mean, to be honest, I don't care who does the games as long as they're good commentators. So, and it seems like we're going to have Al Michaels on Thursday night now, which I love that. I like
Al Michaels. It's comfy, man. He's comfy.
Yeah, and isn't it Aikman? All right, here we go.
Yeah, ESPN got Aikman, and I think he's doing Thursday night as well, but could be wrong. ESPN really need to get some new blood on Monday night. Jesus. Okay.
Chris Olave, okay. All right, that's a good pick for them.
Yeah, because and one guy, when we're talking about trading block, who hasn't been talked about was Mike Thomas. Maybe because his value's so low with the contract and him not playing last year. But I really like this Olave pick, but we got to see what they gave up because, there's risk reward with this thing. And there's other dogs at wide receiver still on the board.
It was smart, I think, to trade up for him, though. Because with Philadelphia in front of you, you couldn't rely on anything. And Vikings pick is in immediately, Lawson.
Yeah.
Immediately. Oh, wait. Are we trading? Is there a trade?
Yeah, Vikings are trading picks.
Detroit's
Lions.
up.
Lions.
In division trade. What's going on here?
Yeah, I know.
Holy crap. That's a Lions didn't pick till 32, so they must have given up a crap ton of capital to get here.
I don't know if that's what I would do if I was the Lions. And ESPN, are you going to show us what they're giving up so we can actually be participants in this thing? Come on, man. Because I don't got it on sound. Normally
Lawson pissed. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
There we go.
Yeah. Can we get could someone go to Twitter and put it in the live chat for us?
Dude, I'm just glad the Panthers didn't take Kenny Pickett because, dude, if they had done that, it would have been a meltdown of epic proportion.
You can't force pick a quarterback. If you love him, that's one thing, but they didn't love him.
Jermaine Johnson here, maybe?
Yeah. Because they need two DNs.
That would be a heck of a tag team, though, if they got two really good DNs in the same draft. But
it would make football sense. They could be in the mix for wide receiver. We were saying that was going to be the catalyst of the trades. The wide receiver starting to come off.
I don't know.
Lions need a wide receiver. St. Brown's good or whatever.
They got DJ Chark over the offseason. I don't know. Could they be going quarterback?
Chark has potential.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you try to jump 20 picks to get a wide receiver or to get another D end because the defensive end class this year coming out is actually really deep. So you could sit at 32 or 34 and you could get another defensive end. But I mean, there's a chance if you don't take Malik Willis within the next 8 picks that he won't make it to 32. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know who else you would trade up for here.
Yeah, and I wonder what the Steelers are thinking because I got a feeling the Steelers kind of either Pickett or Willis, and I think they're ready to make a desperate move here. Mm-hmm. Given that they didn't get anyone in the quarterback sweepstakes, which might have been better than giving up the house for Wentz.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, when was the last time we were 12 picks in and the quarterback hadn't been taken yet?
Yeah, I know. What, the 80s?
I don't know. Longer than I've been following football. Yeah. Someone pull that stat up.
Yeah, I would be curious to see that. What's up, Graham?
Sweet, man.
Yeah, where are entertainers?
Good to see you, bro.
Johnson and Williams are special. Jerome says, I don't trust any quarterbacks in this class. I agree with you.
Hey, Graham, are the Packers actually taking a receiver this year?
Yeah, I know. That's what I want to know. two picks in the first round, right? Busted 1974 says, who was the number 10 pick?
New York, the Jets.
Garrett Wilson, correct.
Yeah.
Testing my memory, man, because it's been 45 minutes since the Jets were here at 10, Mm-hmm. Lions are saving this draft, though, getting these picks in hot, fast.
I know, dude. They've taken no time to get these picks in.
Yeah.
Dude, after Walker went number 1, they got Hutchinson like that. I mean, it was immediate.
Which it's good. It shows confidence.
Yeah.
And I just hate the forced picks. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've seen teams do that so many of my years watching the NFL.
No, I'm with you.
Have clear to draft a guy and trade back. Okay, Vikings get the 32nd overall pick, 34th overall pick, and the 2022 third-round pick.
2022 or 2023?
They said 2022, but ESPN can be full of shit. It doesn't make sense to label it like that. So Vikings get 32 and 34. I think Vikings won that trade.
So you got to stay up till 1 a.m. to see who your team picks, though.
Yeah, I know.
Have fun with that.
Digging in the trench.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Yeah, finally.
Jameson Williams. Okay. So whoever you said they were taking a receiver, you called it.
I really felt like they were digging in this trench with Goff.
That's a lot to give up for Jameson Williams, though.
I know. And for a guy who's not going to be able to play next year, correct?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Oh, wait, did Eagles trade up? Eagles traded up, too.
This reporting with the ESPN is just beyond bad.
Eagles are on the clock.
Now,
So
that's
Lawson,
good. That's interesting.
I mean, like you said, after Garrett Wilson went to the Jets, all these teams are panicking and taking wide receivers. We've now seen 3 wide receivers go in the last 3 picks. So we got Garrett Wilson at 10. Olave went at 11. We just saw Jameson Williams come off the board. Now the Eagles are trading up as well.
Yeah, and let's get to the Eagles. I just want to read this comment. Something tells me the Packers are going to use the 22 pick for an offensive tackle, and then use the 28 for a wide receiver, and then also another in the second round. That would make sense because the Packers' offensive line is actually maybe the most overrated aspect of their team. I would not argue with that rationale. I just don't think they'll do it.
The other thing, too, is I think there's a big drop-off in the tackles between the first 3 guys and everyone else. Like, I think my 4th tackle is Trevor Penning, and I think he's a second-round pick.
Well, and I don't think he fits the Packers scheme, just for instance. Like, he reminds me a little bit of when the Saints got Ryan Ramczyk.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm viewing him with rose-colored glasses because, like you said, if I'm going to pick on Drake London for playing in the Pac-12, I have to point out that you said he was literally playing against like Rudy type guys,
Exactly.
So, so we got the Commanders at 16. That's the only information we know.
Who do we think the Eagles are taking here?
Man,
Treyon Burks, maybe?
I would go that way, but the problem is I'm the biggest Hurts fan there is. But, Goddard and Devontae Smith, they're open pretty much every play, and Jalen Hurts isn't going to be able to get back there and read it. But it has to be wide receiver, right? Yeah. Unless they're going to go Jermaine Johnson.
I mean, I'll say it again. Quarterback, maybe?
Yeah, you have to be thinking it, especially once we finally get to see what they give up. Mm-hmm. But Detroit gave up a lot to get Jameson Williams, who's on the ACL. Now, some people in the chat are saying he's going to play, like he'll be back like week 9, week 10. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, and it really just depends on him. Like, I mean, there's no telling when that ACL will heal up.
Yeah, and I don't want to be overly immediate, like I need to bust my nut like right now, but the Lions need some dogs to start week 1. And when I look at the second round of this draft, like Mike already painted a picture, dude, there's going to be some gems, particularly on the defensive line and offensive line in the second, third round. Like I found some offensive linemen you can gamble on. Defensive line, I don't even think they're gambles in the second.
No, they're not. They're good.
So,
D tackle too could be in play here for the Eagles. I mean, Jordan Davis.
They got to replace Fletcher Cox. They got Fletcher coming back on a 1-year deal. But they haven't had anyone to really run with him in the middle in like 3 or 4 years.
Ever since that Super Bowl, they've really they've taken steps back.
Yeah.
Eagles, okay, to their credit, the Eagles have rebuilt really well ever since they fired Doug Peterson. But after they won that Super Bowl, they were just trying to keep the squad together and then run it again. And it just didn't work. And then in 2020, they caught themselves like basically in hell, at the bottom of the NFC East. And now here we are again. Now they've kind of like rebuilt themselves a little bit. And now I think they're trying to decide if Hurts is their guy or not, and how to build this team going forward.
Well, and Howie Roseman did give a hint, and Dan Campbell even gave a hint about Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. Both of them said this offseason that, I think there's other ways to win in this league than the elite quarterback, especially when we look at like these $45, $50 million deals against the salary cap. Now, the salary cap keeps going up every year, but I'm starting to get pause for cause when I see Dak Prescott's contract or, what Kyler Murray's next contract could be. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at how much Aaron the Game Rodgers got, and I love him, but his deal was capped friendly compared to what they got. You know?
Yeah, it was. And, someone's saying maybe Jordan Davis. I think it's possible. I mean, I'm surprised we've gone this long without seeing more defensive linemen go.
Yeah, Jordan Davis is nice, man. And the Eagles in their heyday, they always were really athletic up front. I would still go Jermaine Johnson here. Eagles, either way, Jordan Davis or Jermaine Johnson, I'm fine with it if I'm an Eagles fan.
Here's what I'll say: I'm not as high on Jordan Davis as other people are. I just think he's too inconsistent, and I feel like he runs out of gas at times and goes AWOL in games. But dude, when he's on, he is on, and he's probably the best player in this draft when he's on.
Yeah, and we're at the 13th pick with Philly.
Yeah,
we're seeing Trayvon Walker celebrate with us.
Dude, I wish ESPN or ABC would give me a stinking draft board update because we've had so many trades in the last couple picks that I want to know I don't know who's next anymore,
Dude, it's amateur hour. I don't want to go on an ESPN rant because we all know it sucks. But Jesus, is there a more amateur thing than ESPN?
Well, I'm on ABC, and ABC's not great either.
It might even be the same feed.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone at this point. I'm on NFL Network. So
yeah, TV's busted.
Thank God for the mobile app, NFL mobile app.
True.
Yeah, I'm with you, Graham. NFL Network covers it best.
Yeah, and okay, Eagles get the 13th overall pick. Texans get 15th overall, 2022 fourth round pick, 2022 fifth round picks.
Wow. I would say the Eagles won that.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. You think the Texans could have maybe made that fourth round pick, a third round pick, or
yeah. I think that's a fair trade for both sides, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Texans, you got three moderately high day 3 picks. And that's never a bad thing.
Yeah. And Jerome saying Hamilton to the Eagles. I mean, it just shows how undervalued safeties are in this league, especially with how versatile he is. With how much nickel defense and 3-3-5s we see played, that's one thing that is a little bit surprising to me.
I mean, yeah, it's possible Kyle Hamilton could go here. I know the Eagles, Brian Dawkins back in the day, they haven't really had a great safety since then, in my opinion. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins was solid for a couple of years, but other than that, maybe Kyle Hamilton is the guy here.
Yeah. And so.
Yeah, you were right, Lawson. It's the 15th overall pick, a fourth rounder, and 2 fifths. So I think that's a good trade by both sides.
Yeah.
But dude,
yeah, especially if the Eagles do something great here.
Yep. We got another ad. We got all these people coming up for Goodell.
Yeah, with prep school kids from Bishop Gorman who don't really symbolize what this game's about. Not hating on prep school kids, but it's kind of cheap. They recruit their team from all over the country and beat everyone's ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's just no soul in it. It's not really what high school football is about. But,
yeah.
Don't want to complain.
I mean, listen, I'm all for supporting the community and letting the NFL know you're for the people, but at a certain point, we're here to watch the draft. We're not here to give community shout outs,
Yeah. And dude, we know you're giving money to community efforts. You don't need to prove it.
Jordan Davis, there it is.
Wow. Makes sense.
Yeah, I like it.
Now Fletcher has someone to roll with in the middle. That makes sense.
Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Someone's asking me this question. This is tough to do off the top of my head. Hey, Lawson, who's the top 5 best players this draft? Okay. Okay, let me start. The top 5 best players. Let me. I would go Thibodeau, Hutchinson. No particular order here, but give me Thibodeau, give me Hutchinson, Give me Sauce Gardner. I want to go with one of the wide receivers, but
Neil maybe.
Yeah, Neil, and then this last one is tough, but dude, like I really like Jermaine Johnson, so that would be my 5, controversial and whatnot, but you know,
Yeah, speaking of, he could be the pick here for Baltimore. Ravens took no time to get that pick in, and they've been one of the teams rumored to be trying to go after defensive linemen. So
they need.
I don't know.
They need to go after offensive linemen too. One thing that's really been lost in the sauce about the Baltimore Ravens is the way they let this offensive line deteriorate the last 3 years. Each year it gets worse. Ever since Marshall Yonder retired, there's a lot of focus on Lamar Jackson, his contract, his injuries, but they got to get it. And with the Ravens, I want to see them. I want to see what they do. I want to see them do something good, man.
Yeah, I think Jermaine Johnson could be it. Devontae Wyatt could be it. Carl Loftus could be the guy too.
Yeah,
I mean they need a D lineman, and there are a lot of good players on the board still.
True.
Day 2 is going to be a free for all if all these defensive linemen fall.
Yeah, because
I'm shocked we have not. Go ahead.
Because how these teams address defensive line, it's paramount. After quarterback, wide receiver, defensive line, offensive line, that's how it goes. I mean, you could mix in corner in there if you think the kid's special.
Yeah.
Normally, we see a lot of corner picks in the second round. People's just reaching. If the kid's athletic, yeah, we can coach him up. But I think what you said, we're going to see a ton of defensive linemen.
Well, day 2 especially. At this point, yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man.
But let's see this.
I've always kind of liked the second round better than the first round. Not trying to be contrarian.
I do maybe the first top 10 picks, but I mean after that it starts to get chaotic. And the good thing about the second round is that teams will trade up without fear of losing too much capital, and that's always very entertaining. And it goes a lot faster than the first round too. So,
yeah, and I'm not as big into college football as I used to be. But back when I liked college football, second and third round, man, that's a good day for college football fans if you like the NFL. Yeah, man, I want to see what the Ravens do here. I wouldn't snub my nose at Hamilton here either.
Dude, look at these Jordan Davis highlights. I mean, this man is a beast.
He might be the most athletic big man I've ever seen. If we're talking about big,
that guy can run.
I mean, when Vince Wilfork came out, that might be like a touche for me, but he's pretty damn athletic, and and he was already a dog before the combine.
And the scary
Walker might be a combine baby, but I don't think Davis is.
No, I don't. I think Jordan Davis is legitimately good. I think he was him and Wyatt were the backbone of that Georgia defense. Like at the end of the day, if I'm saying who's the most some of the most important players on Georgia, it was definitely Wyatt and Davis.
Dude, and the Jordan Davis thing fits with kind of what the Eagles are trying to do. They want to be physical, and being physical might be enough to win that NFC East. With how inconsistent the Cowboys are at this point, and you got the no names, commanders, whatever you want to call them, it's just barely a non-functional entity, and you got the Giants, who are probably the worst team in the league, but no one wants to talk about it. We want to just like shit on the Jets and the usual suspects, but like you said, Giants are probably the worst team in the league.
Yeah, the Giants suck. I mean,
the division's wide open.
Yeah, it wasn't talked about enough how bad the Giants were at the end of last year.
Yeah,
you're right. Wyatt was definitely the flash. I mean, I think if you're talking like in terms of pure pass rushing for a defensive tackle, I mean, he's probably the closest thing we've seen to Chris Jones come out in a while. Devontae Wyatt, I think.
Yeah, and And I don't get why he's still on the board.
I don't either.
Because I know defensive tackle isn't what it used to be, but bro, if you got someone who can give you a pass rush in the 3 and 5 technique, that can wreck a game plan. It's harder to block than someone than a defensive end. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Hamilton finally off the board.
Yeah,
with the Ravens here.
I like it.
I did too.
Maybe they just said, let's go best player available. We need a spark in here. We're stagnating. Let's worry about offensive line, second, third round. I wouldn't be opposed.
I like that too.
Yeah. Ravens have always drafted well.
Yeah, they've always had a good secondary. And he'll fit very well in John Harbaugh's speed. Yeah. John Harbaugh's scheme as well. I'm feeling the Yinglings.
Yeah, dude, it's good to get some Yinglings and watch the draft, man.
Yeah,
and it's fun coming on here and talking football. You know, ESPN, they're not really like I don't have the volume on, but I can just tell they're not talking a lot about the impact. I'm barely fucking seeing highlights. Like I'm barely seeing highlights. Man.
Are they interviewing people's parents on ESPN as well?
Yes.
Because that's pissed me off. Like, I don't want to see your parents. I want to see highlights.
Yeah, and like, dude, like, it's good to celebrate the family, but you know, come on, man. Like,
come on, mom.
Big stuff. Like, you know, like, mom will have her day. You know.
Yeah.
But now they're finally showing some Kyle Hamilton highlights. First highlights I've seen him, like, dude, that was a great open field tackle. My goodness. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no problem. No problem. It's been a fun 2 hours. Yeah. Texans are in. I mean, they could go anywhere. I think they're going wide receiver.
You think so?
If I was them, if I was them, I would probably go offensive line though.
Well, who are you taking?
Best available, Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson, who I would
okay.
Take. But at wide receiver right now, wow, man. I'd have to go Perkins from Georgia. I think it would be a reach because he's going to go mid-20s. But the Texans need a big body guy. They don't got any big body guys, right? They just got Cooks and Amendola.
Well, just to update you, you said there would be 8 wide receivers taken in the first round. We are currently sitting at 4. And Trayvon Burks is still on the board. George Pickens is still on the board. And Christian Watson is still on the board.
Those guys got to go.
And
Watson's a bit speculative because I know people said, oh, he started slow at North Dakota State. But when you see that athleticism, this is what the first round is for, to get players you can develop and who are dogs.
And like you said, he is a project. Like, I mean, for starters, that man drops a lot of passes. That's my one big problem with Christian Watson is that he drops a fuck ton of balls. But, I mean, you know, he has a crap ton of athleticism. He probably needs more development in his route tree. And to be fair, he was not in the great system. I mean, if North Dakota State could have had it their way, they would have ran the ball every game, like 100% of the time. So,
yeah. So, and like Houston, Washington, it's just something tells me we might see 2 receivers go off the board. And maybe the NFL scouts are agreeing with you about the offensive tackle I like, Trevor Penning, because a lot of mocks had him going like 14, 13. I thought he'd be going at this pick. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
I'm not a Trevor Penning guy at all.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see another tackle go in the first round.
Yeah.
All right, here's Goodell.
Let's see what this says.
Well, I'll be damned. All right, Kenyon Green, guard out of Texas A&M.
You like it?
I think this guy's solid. He needs development. Obviously, I didn't think he belonged in the first round, but I mean, hey, if you're at Houston, you need to fix this O-line. Well, why not take Zion Johnson? That's who I would have gotten here.
Well, and Zion Johnson's extremely smart.
Yeah, and he's physical
which
as heck.
helps.
Or another guy I really like, Tyler Linderbaum. Why not go get him? And Washington's pick is in. I want to mention this before they pick, but Ron Rivera went on a very nice tangent about Malik Willis. And, we all know how much he loves Cam. And I don't think either of us would have predicted that we're sitting here at 16 and Malik Willis is still on the board. So maybe they could possibly take the first quarterback of the night here. It doesn't sound that crazy.
Wide receiver, offensive line, and then, like you said, the wild card, the joker card on the table for Riverboat has to be quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You give up a ton for Wentz, and you bring another quarterback in here on a team that, the talent level is actually pretty good 2 years ago, and it seems like it's fallen off. The defensive line is nasty. But you don't want to force an offensive line pick when you got good dudes available in the second and third. So
that wants someone to throw to. That.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the best receiver still standing? We've had Wilson,
Perkins, or Burke. Okay. I would probably go. I'd probably go Burks, but Perkins is a 1B man, and I would not be surprised. Like if the Chargers come up here and two of those dogs are still on the board, I'd be shocked. Even though we know the Chargers, they're really just an offensive lineman away and maybe even a DT away from solidifying this. Like, dude, look at the Chargers offseason. Like, I know the Chargers aren't sexy and whatnot, but that was a great offseason. And I haven't seen
they did a good job.
Offseason since like the fucking Schottenheimer year.
Well, they needed to as well because the rest of their division just stacked up. I mean, really, the only team who didn't have a great offseason in the AFC West was Kansas City.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have said ever.
Yeah, dude, and not trying to get too sidetracked, but even if you look at Dotson, the little spring bug from Penn State, like the way he can operate in the slot in this modern NFL is also appealing. Mm-hmm. I don't like him as much as other people, but when you look at the way the NFL is going, a little dude in the slot like that, look at what Jamison Crowder has done in this league, and I think Dotson's more athletic. I could be wrong, though. It's tough to tell in college sometimes.
I mean, look at Edelman. Guys like that have thrived in the league for years. I honestly think the slot position should be more utilized than it is. And we're finally starting to see teams put their number one receivers in the slot, and I actually like that. I think because when you're in the slot, this is going to sound obvious, but a lot of people may not think about it. Typically the distance the ball travels between you and the quarterback is shorter, which makes it easier for you to get the ball. So that's why I always like playing the slot in high school. It does get you laid out a lot, so take that for what you will.
That's why it's better to be a little guy playing it who's versatile.
Yeah.
And a guy I think who might be able to develop into a nasty slot receiver is John Mechie from Alabama. I know some people are saying he kind of faded.
Look at Kupp. Kupp is great in the slot.
Yeah, and Kupp's probably the best receiver in the league at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how you can argue that. And if you told me 2 years ago Cooper Kupp was going to be the best receiver in this league, I would have called you fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Even though I've always loved this game. Man. I think I'm getting the 8 wide receivers. I think I'm getting it, but we'll see. Packers need a wide receiver in one of these 2 picks, and they could just pass.
They better take a wide receiver.
But if they're slanging these wide receivers down to the Chiefs got 2 picks, Big Red's going to take one of these dogs, and he put in the proper work to research these receivers. So,
yeah, I mean,
it's looking good, man. For the 8.
Did you actually put money on that?
I put money on the over 6.5 receivers. That's what it was at.
Well, if the Commanders take a receiver here, I think you'll have bagged that.
Yeah.
But why hasn't Green Bay traded up?
I don't know.
They're a team. I mean, they're a team that should be in a state of desperation right now because you're a championship caliber team without one of the most important positions in football being wide receiver.
We got breaking news. Ravens trade Marquise Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals for pick number 23. Wow.
Huh. This is okay.
Well, they better get a receiver in there, and
now you're definitely hitting it.
Yeah, then and Mark Andrews is, I think, maybe one of the most underrated players in the league. But for gosh sakes, like, you better get 2 wide receivers in there, man.
What is the? I don't get that trade. You said
I don't get it for either. Hollywood Brown from the Ravens to the Arizona Cardinals for the 23rd pick in this year's draft. I don't get it for either team.
There you go. There's another wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, to the Commanders. That's 5 now. You're hitting this over, dude.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I see why they would like Dotson. He wouldn't be the guy I would go with here. I think I had Dotson in my mock going 32. Could be wrong though.
But back to that trade. I gotta see this. Looking this up.
Yeah, but
dang, man.
I get that Arizona needs another playmaker. It's just.
Is it
that make their
much?
Offense more liable?
No.
I think they need to get better on the offensive line. I think they need to protect Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I think they need another dog on defense.
They didn't need another wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing about got to be looking at wide receiver now when they're down at 22, 23.
Do they still have Sammy Watkins?
I think he's a free agent, but let me check. Okay. He didn't do much last year, but still, it's a good guy to have on the field.
I wouldn't have traded a first-round pick to make it happen, but I do get the need to maybe obtain more speed at wide receiver if you're Arizona, but I don't think that's more important than upgrading your O-line. And for Baltimore's sake, I don't get it at all because they needed more weapons for Lamar as it was, and now you're taking away the one good receiver he had. Yeah, this doesn't make sense for either side if you ask me.
Especially he's a Lamar Jackson type wide receiver.
Yeah,
Hollywood just kind of goes out there, doesn't run precise routes. He's good in the
scramble. Here we go. Chargers are up. They took no time to get that in.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that can go here.
All right, there we go. Zion Johnson. I like it.
Yeah, dude, perfect for the Chargers. If they didn't feel it perfect from the Chargers, they didn't smell the allure of the sexy wide receiver and they weren't drawn in, then they did what they needed to do.
This dude is, I'm telling you right now, I think this guy's the best interior lineman in the class.
I had him ranked second.
He's smart. I'm saying in the interior. I mean, he's smart. He's physical. He knows where to be at all times. He's a nasty run blocker. I like this pick.
Yeah, and
Eagles are trading. Here we go.
Wow, okay.
To the Titans.
That's crazy.
What the heck are the Titans doing?
This could be a desperate grab at wide receiver. It's the only thing that would make sense. Unless maybe they're starting to sweat because the Titans do need another offensive lineman. Is Jermaine Johnson still on the board? How did he fall this far?
We've only had 2 edge rushers go so far.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
That was like you said, the depth is legit, but these defensive ends are like wide receivers. They're more important, even though I love the wide receiving position.
Yeah. Tomorrow's gonna be crazy for the D linemen.
Yo, this fucking block by Zion against Syracuse was insane, bro.
Yeah. If Carolina had traded down, he would have been a guy I was banging the table for.
Yeah. So talking about the Titans,
I don't know what they're
offensive
doing.
line and wide receiver. You could go best available with Jermaine Johnson, which But that defensive line ended up getting better, mostly due to the interior rush, but they could use another D-end. But, man, Titans probably need to get another wide receiver, even if they keep A.J. Brown. Julio Granite Stone-Jones didn't work out last year, and their slot receivers suck. Their slot receivers really suck, man. Mm-hmm. And I don't – thank you. And I don't want to give Tannehill excuses by any means, but you got to give him a slot.
Yeah, 100%. Do they still have Adam Humphries?
He was hurt all last year.
Oh, okay.
And Sammy Watkins is on the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, he is? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let me see about Humphries, because Humphries is a guy who is actually like a poor.
He's not bad.
Easy, which helps.
Dude, when he was on the Bucs, that man used to mess us up every time we played him.
He's a free agent. Which
Humphries is
surprising.
All right, Titans pick is in.
But that Sammy Watkins to Green Bay was really under the radar.
Uh-huh. So what did New Orleans give up to trade up to 11? Because they're still picking 19.
They haven't told us yet. They got lost in the sauce. I know. We're just relying on Twitter and, trying to have a conversation, try to watch this draft, and don't got fucking time to go on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, and there's speculation on the chat that A.J. Brown's gone.
Think so?
I don't know. You can't do it. You got to pay him. For me, I think he's a top 3 receiver in this league. I know I'm out on a limb on it, but I really think
A.J. Brown?
he is. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean A.J. Brown gone?
Yeah, we're just speculating at this point.
Oh.
But he did say he didn't want to play under this current contract.
Wow, okay. I didn't realize they traded A.J. Brown. So the Eagles trade their first and third for Titan star.
Jermaine, thank you. Jermaine, thank you, my man.
Thanks for that heads up. There's the
we got ESPN. They have $1 billion budget and they don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude.
Wow, that's a big trade. That's what the Eagles needed too. But now, where are what's the point of that for Tennessee though? Where are your weapons on offense now?
Yeah, what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't in that bad a position in the cap. And then A.J. Brown, dude, if you want to unload Michael Thomas or dudes like that, that's fine. It's just like A.J. Brown is a good locker room guy.
Mm-hmm.
He makes contested catches. He doesn't complain when Derrick Henry gets the ball 35 times a game. He doesn't complain when Tannehill overthrows him. It's really a bad look for the Titans, and it makes me think they're trying to scrap this thing down when they're so damn close to it. They're so damn close. But, okay, Eagles get A.J. Brown. Titans get 18th overall pick, 2022 third-round pick, bro. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I like it for the Eagles because I think A.J.
I love it for the Eagles.
Yeah, because they don't have a jump ball guy. And that's what they needed. So you pair
with
him
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of jump balls for sure.
I'm really pissed at Tennessee right now, man.
Yeah, that is a shame for sure.
Are they going to dump Taylor Lewan next? Or are they just trying to tear this thing down? And look at Mike Vrabel. They look all sad in there and shit.
Uh-huh.
But they got to go Burks because the way their offense works, you need a big, thick body. Perkins is a little bit agile, but I don't know, man. And like we mentioned, their other periphery targets aren't that good. They don't got a good tight end, and I'm just left scratching my head.
Yeah. Maybe defensive line, though. Maybe Jermaine Johnson here, like you've been saying. I mean, when was the last time the Titans had a legit edge rusher?
Fuck.
We've been begging for that for years.
Yeah. And that defense really could go to the next level.
Yeah.
Really could go. Yeah, and Burks isn't AJ Brown. I'm not saying he is. I'm just surprised they traded AJ Brown. I just said I think he's a top 3-4 receiver in the league.
I mean, they look depressed in there.
And then why'd you fucking do it? Did you not see like what Devontae Adams is going for, what Tyreek the Thrill Hill were going for, and you still got the option on AJ Brown? You actually had an advantageous position in this contract. But whatever.
Yeah, I thought Debo was way more likely to go than he was.
Me too.
And it seems like Debo is not getting traded tonight. All right, Traylon Burks though.
Yeah,
there's your guy.
It makes sense. But I'm the type of guy I want to put Traylon Burks with AJ Brown. Give me some Derrick Henry and let's go play action.
Yeah, let's go roll. I mean, if you're honestly though, if you gotta find a replacement for AJ Brown, I don't think Traylon Burks is exactly the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah. Well, this is one thing about, I don't want to go to the Patriots, but when I was looking at Traylon Burks, I was like, okay, the Patriots haven't had this type of athlete since Randy Moss. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not trying to compare him to Randy Moss. I'm just saying, like, they haven't had a big body who can win contested balls. They got nothing. So.
And I really Green Bay does this too, but I feel like they just don't value the receiver position.
They don't.
Which I don't think is the right kind of thinking in today's NFL.
No.
I think.
Go on.
I think you should value the passing game way more than anything else. I mean, if you're trying to be a run-first team, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, and they can't run it.
Yeah.
And LaFleur comes in, we're going to try to run it. And, you're not going to run it against a team that's physical when you don't got dogs on your offensive line. And you never gave Aaron a second legit target. And there's only so much magic Devontae Adams can work. And you take out the penalty yards. Aaron Rodgers generates
saves you.
How much? Yeah, which a lot of it's him being skilled, but a lot of it, and then you're just looking at, okay, like, is this really feasible? And then I'm the biggest meat and potatoes guy there is, but why can't you love your wide receiver too?
Yeah,
I never really got the line of thinking.
Especially, when the strength of your team is your quarterback, why are you not putting weapons around him? Like, it's one thing. Okay, look, if you're like the Panthers and your quarterback sucks and all you have is a good running back, I can understand maybe building the team around him. But when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, why are you not trying to help him out? Why are you not surrounding him with receivers and tight ends that can actually get open?
Yeah. And then, like I said, that's why the three most important positions for me is quarterback, defensive end, wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Even though I love the offensive line, it's just I don't get it, man, and I'm really mad about this AJ Brown thing. Mm-hmm. I think he had maybe the best game if we mix in degree of difficulty in the NFL last year, Thursday night against the 49ers.
For sure. He carried that comeback.
It was insane. He looked like...
he took over the game.
Mike Irvin. Yeah.
It was probably one of the most impressive performances by a receiver last year. Like, even though the yardage wasn't all that great or, like, super elite, he completely took over that game after halftime. And the Niners had no answer for him.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good defense, too. Mm-hmm. That shut down the Packers completely.
And it's not like Tannehill was doing him any favors.
Yeah, and we got Saints on the board now. This could go a wide variety of directions.
Yeah. You had Trevor Penning here, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Fits the scheme.
Quarterback, maybe?
Yeah.
Can we talk about this? The Saints. Okay, you are. This is like pre-draft stuff. But what was the point of the Saints getting an extra first-round pick in this draft? Like, I mean, this is not the best draft. I don't get why you're trying to do that.
Well, yeah, why not get 2 2s?
That's where I'd be trying to load up.
And the Saints need more pieces, like because of their salary cap situation. I think the salary cap is one of the most overrated shit in this league. There's like 3 teams in trouble with the cap. The Saints are one of them. So they need to be careful, and they need to load up with rookie contracts if there's anyone who should be worried about it.
I mean, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Rams really just make the cap not look like a real thing. Because all they do whenever they get in the cap hell is just, restructure some contracts.
And turn it to bonus money.
Yeah, and push it down the line. But then as long as time doesn't stop and as long as that bill never comes due, you can be projected to have negative $30 million cap space the next year. But as long as you just find a way, government. Yeah, as long as you just find a way out of it, you'll be fine. I think Goodell actually needs to get on that and say hey, you can only restructure 5 contracts a season or something like that.
Yeah, because bro, we're gonna have quarterbacks making $80 million a year. When we got a top 10 defensive end getting $6 million a year. Yeah. It's just, dude, listen, even wide receivers, I feel like they deserve more money as well because they still have to get out there and get hit. Like quarterbacks, they don't suffer the same consequences of this game. I'm not even one who goes on to say, we need to take care of players. You can't hit the quarterback. No, I'm not one of those guys. But, goddamn, let's compensate guys who are putting their body on the line. I'm not saying, fucking left tackle's worth as much as Pat Mahomes. But Trevor Penning, Saints. Look at this big country.
Wow, you called it. Hey, I'll tell you what, though. Brian Burns is going to have his way with him. Brian Burns is going to destroy him.
He's going to struggle with the quick first stop. But when this guy is going downhill, man, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It is.
But maybe I'm a little bit biased because I was really in on Ramchak, and I've seen him evolve into an elite right tackle. But the whole point is right tackle, you can be more of a banger than a left tackle. Yeah. I wonder what their plan is. They might move him to guard, which I think he's got the shape to be a guard and get a good push. But does that really fit Teron Armstead leaving? Does that really?
No. I mean, Teron Armstead on his best day is a top 5 tackle in this league easily.
Fucking nasty.
Yeah.
If Trent Williams wasn't in the league, I would say Teron Armstead's best left tackle. Mm-hmm. And Devil's Advocate's going to come in and say, Teron Armstead was hurt a lot, and that's fine. But the best part of the Saints for me, even though their defense is good, is their offensive line. And
for sure. That's carried their team.
Yeah.
That's why Sean Payton is able to scheme things up so easy, even though he doesn't have great receivers when he was there.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going to go more physical this year.
All right, Steelers up. Do we finally see a quarterback here? Pick is in.
You got to think, man.
It's about time.
Quarterback. Because at now you can at least defend it, even though we know these quarterbacks. I actually think Malik has a first-round grade, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, we've compared him to Lamar Jackson when he first came out. And I think that where he went was an accurate, was good value. I think he went 31 or somewhere in the late 20s. I think that's about where Malik Willis should be.
I think Pickett's a second-round guy, but and when I'm looking at who would you go with if you're the Steelers, Willis or Pickett?
I go with Willis because the Steelers actually have a good organization around him that can develop him, and because right now they're not ready to field a rookie out there because they have no help. But if you tell me
that offensive line is trash, by the way.
Well, Willis is used to that. He had his O-line at Liberty was bad,
really bad. Played against big schools pretty good, and dude, it's crazy that Liberty was actually able to win football games against like ACC teams.
Yeah.
Like I know, like playing against Syracuse isn't the grand all be all of football, but it's still kind of impressive.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I know a lot of prospects were saying, "Oh, Malik runs out of the pocket way too much." Well, I mean, with that O-line, I don't know if you have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like that O-line was really,
yeah, bro.
It was really a hindrance, and Malik was really all they had.
Well, and I'm kind of a sucker. I like a quarterback, not necessarily like a scrambler, but I like a guy who can roll to the right and has the cachet to pump that shit deep and take a chance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't like the dinkers and dunkers who throw the interceptions, who take chances throwing like 6-yard passes. It doesn't really make much sense, but
yeah,
No,
I've
been a Fitzpatrick fan my whole life. So
yeah.
He's a free agent. Listen, are you going to tell? I know Fitzpatrick had a really nasty hip injury last year, and it could be career ending. But are you going to tell me Mitch Trubisky's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No. If nothing else, no.
Have you seen the Mike Glennon effect with Mitch Trubisky?
I think we're getting to that point. And the other thing about Fitzpatrick is that, people are going to go to games to watch Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not lining up to go watch Mitch Trubisky.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
And that's where your Carolina Panthers are in a tough position. I want them to just bring back Cam Newton.
I wouldn't mind that. But to be honest, I love Cam. I love him, but for his sake, I don't want him to come back
because it's going to get too ugly.
Yeah, I don't want to see him go out like that. I'd like to see him, go on a team where he can actually compete for the starting job. Maybe like Tennessee. I'm trying to think of another good team that needs a quarterback.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, somewhere where his team's going to win, where he can actually get opportunities to show he still has it. Because he's never had – the problem with the Panthers was for the longest time that they never put weapons around him. And then by the time they finally did, he was starting to fall apart.
And he got Calvin Benjamin to a Pro Bowl when he was at his height.
Yeah, dude.
They're impressive.
And if you look, all the receivers he had, from 2013 after we lost Steve Smith to about 2017 – after they left Carolina, none of them ever did anything in the league.
Yeah. Dude, Antonio, thank you for the support, my guy. Simon Chiefs Kingdom, what's up? Someone's saying Atlanta for Cam Newton. That would just be too perfect. But unfortunately,
I hope not.
Got passed up for Marcus the Magic Man Mariota.
Yeah.
Okay, Pittsburgh's in. Franco Harris.
At least it's someone that we want to see this time.
Yeah. At least he's a legend.
Yeah.
I see Tony Gonzalez enough on
TV. I know, right?
Dude, did you see this fan-controlled football league?
No.
With Tio and Johnny Manziel. I'll explain it once we get to a law.
Okay.
But the Steelers pick is big. This is one of the most interesting picks of the first round. I look at the two teams who are after it. We got New England and Green Bay. Two teams that are so stubborn about getting wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think it's the 80s still. And me and you love Smash Mouth football, but at a certain point, it's not 82 with Bill Parcells anymore, you know?
It's just amazing me that there's – Kenny Pickett. Look at that. Wow, so Pickett over Willis.
Do you think Mike Tomlin signed off on that? I just don't like it, man. I don't like it. This is trying to fit a square into a round peg, and this is this type of stuff that's desperation. I know the story, right? South, hometown kid. He's a grinder, puts his head down, gets better every year. But at a certain point, don't we just kind of put that in the second round, early third territory?
Well, here's what I will say. I've seen a lot of scouts compare Kenny Pickett to a young Big Ben.
Oh, fuck
and
no.
I don't think that's accurate because I think, Big Ben obviously had a much better arm.
And they're forgetting what a great athlete Big Ben was when he came in the league.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cut you off.
Well, Kenny's not a bad athlete either. I just don't think he is the arm to be a franchise quarterback. That's my biggest nitpick on him. I mean, look at these passes. Look how much air is under that ball. Like, I mean, you just don't see a lot of like sideline bullets from him. You don't see him throwing the deep outs or the corners over the middle, you know?
Yeah, let's look at these. They're trying to show him how he's good at throwing on the move. I don't know, man. I've watched him play college football before.
Wow.
So does Wills? He's creative.
Does Wills fall out of the first round now?
Good question.
I mean, who else is on the board? Like, is there anyone left that could take him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
I mean, yeah, like, because ESPN is not going to show us the upcoming picks.
Oh, of course they won't.
Yeah, it's just these next 3 picks are extremely interesting. Baltimore could be in the mix for him with the Lamar Jackson
Willis?
situation. Dude.
Oh, good point, yeah.
But I don't think they'll do it. But the whole thing with Lamar Jackson not negotiating the contract for like 2.5 years and they want to negotiate. Have you seen any of that?
I have heard about that. Yeah.
It's getting weird. Like, no, I'm all for Lamar getting his contract done himself and not paying the agent fee, but he says he doesn't want to do it during the season. Then during the offseason, he doesn't do it either. Like,
you do have to wonder if they're actually going to go through with re-signing him. It's very
after last year.
Yeah.
After the weird illnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dang, yeah. I'm trying to find the rest of the draft order because at this point, there's a serious chance that Malik doesn't go in the first round. And Kansas City traded up over Green Bay. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, didn't we kind of foreshadow that? Because now we got New England's pick. Chiefs get that pick and really quick with a trade.
Patriots, of course, trading down as normal.
Yeah.
Right on schedule.
Which, not in love with the Patriots doing that.
That's what they always do, though. I mean,
but aren't they going to get fucking serious about getting Mac a wide receiver, though?
Probably not.
Because Mac was really impressive that first half, but at a certain point, there's only so much scheme can do for you. And like N'Keal Harry and Aguilar, that's not a good combination because the Patriots defense wasn't all that great last year and they had to come back in games. And sometimes they're actually able to.
But I mean, the Patriots just have never valued the wide receiver position. I mean, when was the last time we could sit here and say that the Patriots had good receivers? 2000? Is it really as far back as like 2012?
Yeah, Randy Moss, because Moss and Welker, and they had old Deion Branch who could still do more than these bums they got.
And yeah, I mean, I know they had a phase where they had like Gronk and Edelman and Amendola, and they were all playing well, but I mean, I feel like that had more to do with scheme than anything else. And
that was more quarterback.
Yeah, and none of them did anything after leaving. But.
Yeah, and like Gronk was elite at his position, but that doesn't. It's not that he. Okay, Gronk's explosive. Let's not take anything away from him, but you want your explosion out of your wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Edelman and Amendola, they aren't explosive. They're scheme-dependent players. And I felt like Amendola was maybe the most overrated player in NFL history. I'm not trying to throw stuff at him. Like, he's a grinder, bro. Like, you got to love grinders. But at a certain point, like, when are we going to just admit, like, it's number 12?
He was also really, like, he also would always step up in playoff games, too. So he would get like national media hype for that, and then people would start to overrate him. And Edelman did that too. Like, do you remember after Edelman won Super Bowl MVP, you had people talking about him being in the Hall of Fame?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Simon Chiefs Kingdom with the $20 donation. I appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it. I hope everything's good with you, Chiefs. So,
all right, Chiefs are up.
Yeah, let's see what the Chiefs do, man. It's going to be good. Some good drama right here. It has to be wide receiver, right?
Christian Watson, maybe?
Big Red might be able to use him if there's anyone who can harness it.
Trent McDuffie. Wow, did not see that coming.
Got a corner. Dude, McDuffie.
He's good, but
I actually wanted to ask your opinion on him earlier because the Vikings were linked to him pretty much the whole draft process.
yeah, y'all were.
I can't say I hate it. And do the Chiefs still have another pickup coming? Let me check on that.
Well, ESPN's not giving us updates.
Oh yeah, dude, they're not. They're
doing
really
a terrible job tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the draft order for us. So, because this is where it's gonna get interesting. We're at Green Bay on the clock. They got.
Will they finally get a receiver?
You would hope, but maybe they think Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb is enough.
Oh God, please no.
Yeah.
And what does Aaron Rodgers think of that?
Good question.
He's been whining about his receivers for years, and then you're setting him up for failure with those two.
Yeah, and I'm Team Aaron Rodgers. I love what he did last year, but I'm starting to think, man, maybe Aaron Rodgers just wanted that big ass contract.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, I'm on Team Aaron Rodgers, but it doesn't make sense.
Green Bay is going fullback.
Yeah. So, okay, Kansas City, they sent 29, 94, and 121 to New England for the 21st pick.
So they kept the 30th pick.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Okay, let me get to we can't even get a fucking draft order.
Yeah, I've been looking for the draft order pretty much since pick 20, and I haven't found anything good.
Yeah.
But it's also hard because of the stream.
Yeah, it's like we gotta stay focused. Okay, I got one. So we got Green Bay picking right now. We got Baltimore coming up at 20. Yeah, we got Baltimore at 23. The Boys at 24. Bills at 25. The Titans at 26. The Buccaneers at 27. Packers again at 28. Patriots at 29. Chiefs at 30. Bengals and Vikings to finish it off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
I don't even know, if you're Green Bay and you're trying to take a receiver, I guess it's your boy Pickens.
It should be.
Yes, it should be.
Although they really should double down at receiver because they weren't even able to keep Scantling. They weren't able to keep anyone. Didn't even Lazard go?
I believe he did.
Am I fucking crazy? But those guys are not good players, but they're pieces. Like you need to have pieces in this league, and at least Lazard was getting better, and he's big.
And Green Bay doesn't desperately need anything else.
Yeah, I know.
They really just
the whole line, but
but
throw it more.
It'll survive with what they
They're trying to pound people with Aaron Jones. Dude, you're going to be able to pound the Detroit Lions and Bears with that shit, but
not now.
Lions actually.
The Lions are loaded up.
Yeah. I'm worried about Minnesota Vikings. But we'll see.
I don't know if I like the Vikings trading down as far as they did.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Unless they want to go wide receiver. But even, I don't know, man. They're very tough to predict.
All right, Packers, let's go.
Thank you for the $5 donation, Simon. I'm having a fun time on draft night. Appreciate Michael Mann coming on, though. Really do.
What?
Isn't this just quintessential Packers?
Yeah.
I didn't be the pick yet. You just said why? This is every single. And is Quay Walker even the best linebacker in this draft?
Well, on Georgia.
Athletic.
No, what's his face? Devin Lloyd is much better than him.
And the kid from Utah. I'm blanking on the name. Too many fucking names to remember. But didn't this kid have a solid number?
Ravens trade the pick again.
Wow.
To the Bills. So Bills are trading.
What are the Bills doing with this? Are they? They could use another receiver, no Cole Beasley. I'm not sold on Gabriel Davis being this dog that he was against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Could it? I don't know. Devontae Wyatt, maybe?
Yeah, dude, Graham, I feel sorry for you, man, because it's just
Sorry, Graham.
ridiculous at a certain point. And it's not like there's shitty receivers. There's 3 possible receivers they could have picked. Menchie's pretty damn good. I really love Perkins. Think the kid can develop. And then you got the project, the Joker, Watson from North Dakota State. And I'm just left scratching my head. And is there any plan here? And then we just saw A.J. Brown shipped off for a mid-first round pick and a third sprinkled in. And you're wondering, why weren't the Packers on the phone there? If I'm a Jets fan, hell, I'm even wondering, like, we're talking a big game, but why weren't we on the phone for A.J. Brown? And what other options are available?
The Jets, I mean, okay, they got Garrett Wilson tonight, so
I'm not
they got
hating,
somebody.
but
yeah, I don't hate it either. But you really, I mean, you got the short end of the stick here if you're the Jets, because they've apparently been in on pretty much every big receiver that's been traded this offseason. They've been in on Debo, they've been in on Tyreek. I mean, I'm glad they got Wilson.
A.J. Brown's not a diva. He was willing to go anywhere for the contract.
He was.
Same thing with Tyreek the Thrill Hill, and it seems like that with Debo Samuel. And Debo Samuel also said he doesn't want to live in California, which I can completely understand. Anyone who's not living under a rock can completely understand that. Even our California viewers this whole season hate that place. So it's just,
I don't know how it is now, but I just know they were so run down with COVID for the longest time. Like,
go on.
Well, I know here in Florida we've been good pretty much since fall of 2020, but California was just now recovering.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, you got a bunch of those people moving out, and they're gonna just flock your state, and they're not gonna learn the lessons.
Yeah,
if you learn lessons, I don't care if you move, but Florida, man, we got a lot of good people. We got a lot of good people there who can't afford a house and who literally will never have a chance at a house.
For sure.
And it's getting even worse with, people with these big paychecks coming in from California. But
yeah, it's so expensive though.
Yeah, it is. And the thing with Debo Samuel, and the tax situation in California is really, really bad. Even if you liked living there, which, people are stuck in this 70s, 60s mentality and think California is what they show on TV.
Yeah.
I visited
all
there.
Beaches and pretty.
Yeah. Pretty people and stuff. Dude, no.
Yeah. I mean, everyone hypes up LA as if it's the best thing ever. But I mean, downtown LA is not not a super nice place.
No, dude.
There's some nasty neighborhoods.
It's literally like Brazil tier when you see how many homeless people they have.
Yeah, dude, there are a crap ton of homeless people in LA.
But at least Brazil's not pounding its chest saying they know.
Yeah, they're not hyping themselves up.
Yeah,
they accept what they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bills trade up. They jump Dallas to get to pick 23. What do we think they're doing here? I'm thinking Devontae Wyatt. He's the best player probably on the board right now. And I see no other reason why you would jump Dallas.
Bills really should be going defense.
Yes, they should.
Anything with defense, I'm good with.
I think line.
Yeah.
Yeah, D-line is where I'd be.
D-line is where I'd be could be in play, but.
Yeah, but I guess. But I'm just trying to think, what do you jump Dallas for at this point?
Good point.
But what's the point of jumping Dallas and trading up here? Why not just sit back and
maybe a guy you mentioned earlier, Linderbaum, center guard, who is actually, he is a first-round talent in my opinion.
I love Linderbaum. I mean, that guy is just so smart. I've seen him. He can recognize blitzes as they're happening. He will see, okay, this guy, even if the quarterback doesn't call it out or if it's not recognized pre-snap, he can adjust mid-play and go make blocks that would not have been picked up if it weren't for him. And you just don't see that out of a lot of guys. So,
And Bills had a tough time in protection.
They do.
The first 12 games of the year, they're kind of in shambles.
Mhm.
Above average defensive front like the Jags kicked their ass. And remember what the Colts did to them?
Yeah, they
Then
railed
we had
them.
to hear that. Then we had to hear that Colts hype.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they were there, and then they didn't even make the playoffs because they
Yeah.
couldn't beat the Jags. Talk about a good way to finish your season. You knock your
Yeah.
division rival out of the playoffs, and then you still get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, man, it's just.
Malik Willis is looking like he's ready for bed right now.
Yes. I don't think he's going to go now unless, like, the Lions scoop him. But Lions aren't in it, right?
Yeah,
I always planned on the possibility of the Lions scooping someone up at 32.
Well, I mean, we could see, like, I know Seattle was a possibility that they could trade up and try to get a quarterback. Houston, maybe, if they have a second rounder, they could come up and do it. Carolina's out of the picture because Carolina doesn't have a day 2 pick. So we're screwed.
Unless they're going to start selling 2023 away.
Yeah.
Which would just be a mistake.
Did we get the pick in? My TV just crashed.
Yeah, Goodell's reading it now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is. And thank you, Simon, for your generosity. Khair Elam from
the corner
from Florida.
Okay, so you're right.
He really did rise up. Like I saw him like going in the 3rd round a month ago on the mock draft. And I guess he rose up. What is he really?
He's solid. He's pretty solid.
Bills need a corner.
I don't know about that though, because people forget they lost Trey White like fairly early on.
Top 10 corner in the league, easy.
Yeah, and they went the entire playoff run without him. So when it came, I mean, that's why they got torched by Kansas City because they didn't have him.
Yeah,
I
got to use the bathroom, dude. I actually made it 2 hours 45 minutes without a bathroom break.
Same.
This draft has really ramped up the last like 10 picks.
Yeah, ever since people started trading.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right, cool. All right, if y'all got comments, I guess you can type them out and I'll try to answer them. See this. All right, Dallas on the clock now. Would you guys rather see a city like Toronto get a football team or stay in a small market within the States? I don't know. The thing about getting a new NFL team these days is that, I mean, I honestly can't answer that question. I'm not knowledgeable enough to throw that out there. Yeah, dude, Devin Lloyd should go in the next 4 picks. Devin Lloyd is a beast. I mean, just watch his highlight reel is insane. He doesn't get enough hype. And he may not get picked just because his position's undervalued, but I think that guy's a stud. All right, let's see what the Cowboys do. Cowboys fans clearly showed up tonight. All right, what are we thinking for Dallas here?
Dude, I want to see who Dallas picks.
Yeah, they're talking about Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
He's still on the board. Dude, I can't believe these D linemen have fallen as much as they have.
I don't get it.
Are we really still okay? So Jordan Davis went. So that's 3. Oh, that's 4. Trayvon Walker went 1. Hutchinson went 2. Thibodeau went to the Giants, and Jordan Davis went to the Eagles. So that's 4 D linemen.
Jermaine Johnson is really Jerry Jones, like getting like just winning the lottery at this point. Like I really like Jermaine Johnson. Maybe there's something we don't know.
Well, I think he's a 3rd-round talent, but I think he just really he stepped up at the end. He had a really good Senior Bowl, and he was pretty solid at the combine. And if you look at his tape, I can see how you could be attracted to him. But I don't think he wins enough to be a 1st-round pick.
Ooh.
He doesn't win his one-on-ones enough, but
there's always oh yeah, go on.
I'm rooting for him to get picked in the 1st round because I think he has the talent to be an efficient defensive end. I just don't know if he's going to get picked. All right, Dallas's pick is in.
Titans fan here. I'm hoping Devin Lloyd in 4 picks.
I agree. Devin Lloyd is a beast, man.
Yes.
I mean, he's very good in pass coverage. I never got the narrative that he was a bad tackler. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not perfect. Like he'll whiff on one every once in a while, but he's not going to come out here and just whiff every running back that comes at him. So yeah, I think Devin Lloyd would be good.
Yeah, and Cowboys never rule them out for a linebacker either.
Mm-hmm.
They love linebackers.
Yeah, I wonder what Jerry's going to do. He's killed the last couple drafts.
He really has.
Yeah, I know people like to crap on him, but he takes best player available every time, and it tends to pay off for him.
Dude, and they lost Randy Gregory.
Yeah.
So the Jermaine Johnson thing would make complete sense.
Mm-hmm. Or really any defensive lineman.
Yeah,
Carl Loftus maybe could be the pick here as well.
That'd be interesting. There has to be some sort of realization with these wide receivers from these GMs and coaches, because all of a sudden they're getting quarterback money, tons of receivers already picked, and teams even trading. I do think there's a little bit of that going on.
All right, here we go. Oh crap! This TV sucks.
Tyler Smith, defensive tackle from Kansas.
Okay, I mean,
offensive tackle, my bad.
Yeah, I didn't hear you're talking about, but that's interesting.
He wasn't even on my 1st-round radar. Was he on there?
I mean, I didn't think he was going 1st round. Like I said, after the top 3, I had all the tackles as 2nd-round grades, but I mean, he's not bad. He's a solid pass protector. I wouldn't have taken him here. He was someone that probably could have gone in the 30s, but I mean, he's solid. I wouldn't necessarily be mad at this. I don't know if he's ready to start yet, but.
Well, dude, maybe what you said about Jermaine Johnson is true.
That he's not going to go in the 1st?
Yeah, and maybe they feel that way.
Well, I can understand that, but what's really getting me is that none of these edge rushers have gone. I mean, Wyatt is still on the board.
Because I'm not going to even try to say the dude from Penn State's name, but I liked him. I feel like he, in a normal year, would go in the 1st round. Mm-hmm. How many receivers?
Oh, for sure.
Have I won my bet yet, or are we at 6?
I think we're at 6. So
it didn't
Dotson,
help me that there's A.J. Brown getting traded, though.
Is it just fun? I might have missed one. I stopped keeping track. So Dotson got – who did the Titans pick?
Titans, they got Treylon Burks.
Okay, so I got – let me update that.
That'd be crazy.
So, yeah, we're at 6. We got Wilson, Jameson Williams, Trayvon Burks, Drake London, and Dotson. So that's
good.
6. So we need one more.
Yeah, I need this. Yeah.
Is
So
Baltimore finally going to pick here?
Yeah, they're
Or
finally.
are they going to trade down again?
It makes sense what they're doing. In the Ozzie Newsome era, they always used to get steals in like the 3rd and 4th round.
Yeah.
And Belichick, though, I don't know, man. And like his trade down, like he's getting like a 3rd and 4th. But if you look at the Patriots, the last 5-6 years, they don't really use those picks as much as the folklore is said. They don't get guys.
And I'm okay with trading down if you can actually like if you're picking decent players and you've proven you can do it. I don't think that Bill Belichick's really good at that. Bill Belichick is – I mean, he hasn't gotten steals in the later rounds of the draft in years.
Yeah, and it's just like at a certain point, I do feel like Bill Belichick just tries to do stuff just to prove he's like smarter than everyone else. And that's one thing, like, I don't know. It just feels like that at a certain point.
I mean, he has his moments.
Yeah, dude, great coach. Like, probably the best coach we're ever going to see in our lifespan. But, it's just sometimes a player evaluation by him pisses me off. And how can you look at this Patriots roster and not say, okay, let's get Mac a dog at wide receiver in here? I think we're living in different worlds a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of wide receivers, you think that's where Baltimore goes here? Christian Watson.
So.
Who else is still here?
Watson is like
George
a Baltimore
Pickens
guy.
Yeah.
Like Watson really is a Baltimore guy.
I mean, he's got the speed to replace Brown.
And
George Pickens too. Like, he's got George Pickens on his best day George Perkins. Yeah. On his best day. Yeah, for real. I'm gonna screw that up a lot of times. Anyway, he's got the vertical speed to replace what you lost in Hollywood Brown. So,
I agree.
I don't know. I wouldn't hate either of those picks if they went with a receiver here.
Yeah, and are we going to see some just corners flying off the board because that's what teams naturally do at this point? I was kind of surprised by the McDuffie pick earlier. And Tyler Smith with Dallas, I didn't like that either. But we'll see how he plays because Dallas has been good at drafting no linemen, so I can't really question it.
I don't know. Well, someone just said Lamar doesn't throw deep. I don't know. When you think Lamar, do you think more of a deep passer or more of a check down guy? I think of him more as a deep passer.
Deep passer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, like his short passes are really inaccurate. His deep balls are actually somewhat nice, but a lot of the deep balls come from him scrambling.
Yeah, and
not like a conventional you pump it, but
he also had a phase last year where his receivers could not catch anything. Like I know Hollywood Brown was I remember the Detroit game very well when the Ravens almost blew that game and gave Detroit their first win. Like Hollywood Brown, I dropped dang near 5 passes in that game.
That was an interesting game.
Yeah. The Lions had a lot of games like really early in the year that they could have really won had they not choked it away.
Remember the game they tied against Pittsburgh?
Dude,
that thing was ugly.
That might, that might be a leading candidate for like the worst football game of the last decade. That game was terrible. That was the true definition of both teams trying to lose and neither was able to. It was just horrible.
I would say it was up there because I used to have to watch the Bills when I was a kid. I remember one game, it was like 2-11 Bills against 1-10 Browns, and the game ended like 9-6.
Yeah.
It was like 8 degrees that day. But I don't know. That Detroit-Pittsburgh game was the worst I ever saw. I turned on the Monday film, and it was
it was so bad.
Like I actually
Tons
watched
of
the whole
fumbles.
game.
Yeah, dude.
That's how
It was an
dedicated I
entertaining
am to the
game.
craft, bro. Like watching that on a Monday is testing.
It was entertaining for sure. But if I was a fan of either of those teams,
it was bad. Baltimore's pick is in, man.
Okay.
I'm curious to see where
they got to go receiver here.
You would think. And then
Right,
when we
like-
get to this point of the draft, it's really unpredictable, especially when you've got teams like the Packers.
Yeah. I also saw a lot of people linking David Ojabo to the Ravens. So and now we're sitting here like mid-20s. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch that he could go here.
I don't think it's a stretch either. I actually think it's interesting. Okay, the pick's in finally. Goodell's at the podium.
Okay. Oh yeah, they took Bateman last year. That's a good point.
Tyler Linderbaum. I agree with
Hey, I like it.
Makes sense. Because we were talking about how bad that offensive line has been since they lost Marshall Yanda.
And they
go on.
Well, I was gonna say they lost Bradley Bozeman to us during free agency. He was a really good center for them, so they needed to replace him. So Tyler
Linderbaum's really good at getting a run push.
Yeah, he
really
is.
What the Ravens need, they need run blockers. It's not because Lamar. If you have a shitty pass blocking offensive line, it doesn't matter all that.
Yeah, he can make that work, but and I mean honestly, Linderbaum, like I know this is a stretch because Kelsey's so good, but I mean really, he's a very, very, very good comparison to Jason Kelsey. I mean the way with how smart he is, he's not the biggest center, just like Kelsey. Super physical in the run game.
Dude, he's
great
crazy athletic. Look at these highlights. Look at him pulling out.
Listen, the only reason he didn't go sooner is because he's a center. And he's short. But listen, I don't get why do people hate short centers?
I don't get it because it's better because you can get your hands inside easier.
Yeah, I get the whole arm length thing for tackles and the height thing for tackles. But if you're a guard, there's not a lot of room for your opponent to run around you when you're on the inside. So I don't really get the whole debate that you can't take a center or guard because they're under this height or they don't have this arm length. Who the heck cares?
It's like combine baby stuff that they get into. And the fact that he was a state wrestling champion dude, that's fucking means he got really good grip and good hands. And
I believe
inside.
Fun fact, I don't know I think it was him, but one of these wrestlers who is now an O lineman in the NFL apparently was the only person to pin Tristan Wirfs in high school.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's really wild.
He's a goddamn beast.
I know.
Are they showing him against Tristan Wirfs right now?
Is that what it is?
That looks like a young Tristan Wirfs. That's insane.
Yeah. Titans might go tight end.
But what tight ends are there even in this draft?
There's not a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans really do need a tight end.
Yeah. Well, they need a receiver is what they need now.
Well. Jets back on the board, man. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, Jets traded up again?
Must have. They didn't announce it.
My TV's down. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Maybe another receiver?
Yeah, this is one from Tennessee. So Tennessee must have dipped out of this. Yeah, Jets. So you could. I actually one corner I like for the Jets. Not saying they're going to get him is Andrew Booth.
Well, they already got Sauce Gardner, so I don't think they're doing that.
And then Jermaine Johnson's still out there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe now you go defensive line. We thought they were gonna do it at pick 4, but that didn't happen. So maybe now you're sitting here. You got Jermaine Johnson. You got Karl Loftus on the board. maybe that's who you roll with.
Man.
Oh, yeah, safety maybe. That's a good point.
Yeah, that is true. Pickett's in.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if Malik Willis gets picked here in the next 5 picks or so before the night ends, because he's too talented to not go in the first round. Like I know we have questions about him. I know he is he obviously needs to probably sit for a year, but he's too good to not go tonight.
Got the Vikings, got the Bengals, got the Chiefs, Patriots, and Packers. Yeah. But one thing is that the trades always escalate at this point. So that means jack shit.
Your best bet probably out of those teams is probably Tampa Bay to get a successor after Tom Brady. And, you'd actually give Willis the opportunity to sit for a year. And it's not like the Bucs need a whole lot else. So
I wonder if Brady would be okay with that.
I mean, listen, how much longer is Brady going to play? Maybe 2 years at max?
2 years probably.
Willis isn't ready to play right now.
And it would be perfect for Tampa Bay's organization. It's just, is Brady going to take away from his war chest this year? But also, is there an impact player you can get at 27 that you couldn't get in the second round?
But one of these D linemen, I think, is where to go.
True, especially for the Buccaneers. They love using a rotation. Pick is in for the Jets. So Goodell is reading it. Jermaine Johnson.
Finally, thank God. About time.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting for sure.
Well, overall, I'll say this. Good night for the Jets. I mean, you get Sauce Gardner at 4, Wilson at 10, get Zach Wilson a receiver, and now you get another a DN to pair up with Carl Lawson. I like it.
And they needed more athletic dudes on that team.
Yeah. This is a Robert Saleh guy for sure.
And you put him with Carl Lawson, and that makes sense. And Jags are up. Wouldn't it be bold after your criticism of Trevor Lawrence last year? They come in and they take Willis.
They won't do that.
They want it though.
That would. How many Trevor Lawrence jerseys they've sold?
Probably
they're not doing that.
Probably way too many. Even though I'm a Lawrence guy, just thinking about picking up one for myself. But the Jags, New Jerseys, they don't really cut it for me. Their old jerseys used to be one of the best in the NFL.
I know. I don't get why they moved on from that. Those jerseys were nice.
Tim
they were very.
Say it.
I was going to say they were very Jacksonville, but Jets should have gone O-line at 4, not corner.
Yeah. I get it because the Jets, they got a bottom 10 O-line. But I don't know, dude. They need so many places. They're at the point where you kind of just go best available and try to improve the athleticism. And then second and third round for offensive line is really my sweet spot. I've never been a big fan of drafting big offensive linemen in the top 10. It's probably not a strategy I would use because I've seen too many busts in my day, although, you got to pull the trigger if there's a franchise left tackle.
Mm-hmm. Well,
some of these dudes are nasty. So
I've been saying it the whole night. I think after Cross, Neal, and Aquanu, there isn't really much there in terms of tackles who are ready to start and come in right away. A guy I really like who I think could go on day 2, Zach Tom. In my opinion, he's pretty much just a poor man's Charles Cross. He's a little bit smaller than Cross, which is probably why a lot of people aren't going to like him. But he's a pretty solid pass protector, has good technique across the board, doesn't get beat a whole lot. Not the best in the run game, but if you're looking for a good pass blocker, that's who I'd go with.
What school is he from?
I didn't write it down.
Not trying to quiz you. I was just curious. Because, dude, there's a lot of names to remember, especially if we're talking day 2. My God.
Wake Forest, that's where it is.
Okay. And dude,
That
in
dropped
Wake
for a second.
Forest, they play. The ACC isn't the SEC, but ACC has some dogs, so it's a good place to be, man.
Yeah.
All right, like so. What? So did they? Anyone know what the Jags gave up to get here?
Did they? Well, they probably had the 33rd pick, so I imagine they didn't give up a whole lot. They probably just gave up like a 5th rounder or something.
Makes sense.
It wasn't anything. Whatever it wasn't anything like astronomical. And the pick is in.
Yeah, I want to see who it is. Come on, cut away from the commercial, bro.
Yeah. God forbid we miss a commercial.
I know.
All right, so who are you picking here? Maybe
I would go Nick. I would go. I actually one offensive lineman I think they might take a look at is Bernard Raymond.
Yeah, good one. Good point.
And they loaded up too much at wide receiver, but that would probably be the smartest play. But Devontae Wyatt, for me, would be the best player available. Especially, you got me excited about him.
That's who I would go with.
I'm surprised.
How is he not gone yet?
Yeah, especially with how hard it is to find a defensive tackle with a little bit of burst.
Yeah, one that can actually pass rush.
Like, look at where your Jags picked Derek Brown last year. I'm not saying Wyatt is equal to Derek Brown.
He's probably better than Derek Brown in terms of pass rushing.
Yeah, and Derek Brown's a fucking beast.
Derek Brown just sits in the middle and takes up space and doesn't let people run up the middle.
Which helps.
Which is great, but he's not the best pass rusher, which is fine. I mean, that's not what we drafted Derek Brown to do.
Yeah, and so if you can get a good player in that position, I think it helps you. And then you we were talking about the Eagles earlier. You look at what Fletcher Cox has done for the Eagles organization in that 2-3 technique. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, he's easily single-handedly kept that defense in competition.
Yeah. And he was still balling out last year.
Yeah, he was one of the few guys that actually probably after their Super Bowl, he was one of the few dudes keeping that defense afloat.
Yeah, I know.
Because they fell off a cliff after Brady exposed him in that Super Bowl. I mean, the blueprint was out on how to beat him for sure.
Yeah, and then players like Brandon Brooks never really recovered, or
Derek Barnett. Oh my gosh, they hate Derek Barnett.
Yeah, bro.
He recovered that fumble, and oh boy.
I wait for every year for Derek Barnett to take the next step.
Yeah,
he's really good.
He was really bad this last year, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, he tried his very best to lose the Eagles so many games. I think he's at the point where he has more penalties than sacks in his career, which for a defensive lineman is very impressive.
Yeah, it's like, man, bro. I like what the Eagles did tonight, though.
Yeah, I do too.
And it looks like they're going full bore with Hurts, and yeah, it's tough for me to get in there and be like, oh yeah, that's the best thing ever. But with having to pay $42 million, I like Stafford, but $42 million for Stafford now. Carson Wentz's contract is getting out of control. It might be best to wait it out and just spray the money in other areas.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, though. They have a first-round pick next year. So if Hurts doesn't work out, they could package those 2 first-rounders together and move up to get a quarterback in 2023. Because next year's class is a heck of a lot better than this one.
Who's the lead dog in next year's quarterback class?
Probably Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Those are probably the top 2 guys right now. But I don't know. You never know if that, though. What?
There's always guys who are going to emerge.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
But they kind of knew this quarterback class is going to be booty from 2 years ago. They kind of were bracing for this. Okay, Jack's pick is in. Finally.
Devin Lloyd, I like it.
Wow.
Sorry, who? Yeah, I forget who it was who was saying he wanted his Titans to pick him, but that's a good pick. This dude's a beast. You're gonna love these highlights, man. I mean, this
Dude,
dude in
yeah, I
pass
gotta watch
coverage
his
is a stud.
highlights. Like I did see how athletic he was, and they said he was really good at like moving in space, like a Lavonte David type. So,
And dude, he makes such great breaks on the ball. I like this pick. I like
I
this
like
a
a
lot more
player
than
who's instinctual at linebacker.
yeah, seriously. And dude, I don't get why the linebacker position. Well, I know why it has, but why has the linebacker position just fallen off a cliff? Like, why is that position not being valued anymore?
Like, and you. Here's the thing, Mike. It's like it should be valued more now because okay, we know normally what 70-75% of downs you're just going to have two linebackers instead of three like before. But like you said, like to make your point, a nickel linebacker needs to do so much, move well in space, cover. You're asking these guys to do so much. You think you'd want to put more stock in it. I mean, like a good linebacker can go a long way. Like, dude, I've always been critical of Luke Kuechly. But look at how good fucking Luke Kuechly was.
Yeah.
My God.
Did you see Goodell just hug?
Yeah.
Did you just see this hug between Goodell and Devin Lloyd? Oh my gosh, that was awesome. But no, dude, the Jags needed this too, especially after losing Miles Jack. This was definitely a pick they needed to make.
That was one thing I didn't get last.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And they didn't lose him for a lot of money. And in this league, Miles Jack is worth more than Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. Just to get
I wonder if it was just Miles Jack not wanting to come back, because he's been in this crap show for a while. I mean, he's been here since the Jaguars had that championship run, so he's been here for all the crap in between.
Yeah.
Who do you think gets Malik Willis?
Yeah, dude, that's a good fucking question. Huh.
I don't know. I mean, probably Seattle. If I had to bet, Seattle's probably the favorite to land him right now, because he's going to fall the second round. I think Seattle's the first team that's going to have a crack at him.
Watch Green Bay pick him right here, Mike. Let's do this Green Bay pick and let's call it a night. You've put in enough work because. Dude, but yeah, like 3 hours, 17 minutes. I'm happy with it. This is the one I wanted to see with you, man.
Will they finally take a receiver?
Yeah, 29 at New England's interesting and 30 at KC, but yeah, I need to go take a shower. I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like Packers, you don't even know what they're going to go here. Like for Malik,
we know what they should do.
Yeah. They're going to just do it so I don't cover the bat, and that's fine,
Well, Kansas City's after him, so you still got hope, I think.
When I'm looking at it, I actually think the Saints could get him in the second round, but I'm not ruling out Washington, and dude, I'm not ruling out Baltimore, and Detroit is probably the favorite if I had to pick one. But Detroit in their pick situation, God only knows what's going on in the second or third round with them.
Well, Detroit, yeah, they had picks 32 and 34, but they traded them both to Minnesota.
So
they might be out of
it. Minnesota might be in it, but with the Kirk Cousins contract, and
maybe
they tried to get a young kid last year, a project, and Mike Zimmer wouldn't even play him when Kirk Cousins was out of the game, and just.
Maybe Houston at 35. I think they're at 35. That could be it.
It's just to load up on assets. What does Houston have to lose?
Okay, I get it if you don't pick Malik Willis in the first round. Obviously, he has work to do. But when you have a guy that talented just sitting in your lap in round 2, I feel like you got to pull the trigger there, right?
Because there comes a point where you have to judge an asset, and players are assets, and we've seen it happen before in the NFL. A guy sit on a bench and not get his chance and get traded for a big haul. Like, look at what Belichick was able to flip Jimmy G for to the 49ers. Actually,
that is a steal.
Yeah, like, so,
Well, shoot, look at what we gave up for Sam Darnold. I mean, we're not picking tomorrow because of that.
Which, it's frustrating, man. You could have just
I know.
Cam Newton from day one, and and like you guys won just enough games not to get an elite draft pick. But this year it worked off for you, man. Because
it worked out. I was glad we got a lineman.
You guys haven't had a good front in like 4 years. Like one thing about the Cam Super Bowl run, you guys actually had a pretty good offensive line. You did get exposed against the Broncos. But it is what it is,
But yeah, I mean,
it's good front.
All right, let's hear this Jets pick.
Packers. Yeah, they might as well be the fucking Jets. Seriously, the only thing keeping them where they are is going.
Is Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's just.
Come on, Goodell, let's go.
We're 3 hours, 20 minutes into this bad boy,
This is stuff you should either do pre-draft or like during the later rounds.
Yeah, they do so much goofy stuff in the later rounds. They could just throw this in there. Like, I love Andrew Whitworth. Like, Andrew Whitworth's a boss, but like, it's just not necessary.
And why are we having players who didn't even play for the team making picks for other teams?
That's what I'm saying. And they still got Rams fans.
Like, if I was a Saints fan and I had to see Tony Gonzalez announce the pick for my team, I would be pissed.
Especially with how big that Falcons-Saints rivalry is.
Yeah, dude.
It's an underrated rivalry in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only like 8, 9, 10 big rivalries in the league, and that's one of them.
Well, to be honest, no one in the division likes the Saints. Like, and I'm not just trying to crap on them, but I mean, you can look at the Panthers Saints games. Like, even when the Saints have been clearly a more superior team, the Panthers typically show up and play hard in those games.
Exactly.
It's just a rivalry, man. Even the Bucks, when they were trash, like, they still show up and put up a fight against them.
Exactly. Okay, pick is in. Are we going to get to hear it?
Let's go, Whitworth. Yeah, you're welcome for my time. Now, please tell me who.
I know. Like, thank God.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah, like, thank God I told us to end after this pick because this sapped what little energy I had left.
Hey. All right, it's not a receiver, but I mean, that's a good pick. I'm not going to lie.
Well, they always got a little bit pushed around up front. So,
yeah. They've been getting pushed around up front for years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, if you're not going to take a receiver, I guess this was the next best option, but.
Yeah. I mean, it's vintage Packers, though. Like, they should have snagged a receiver one of these picks.
Why don't they take receivers? Like,
I don't.
What is the deal?
What is the philosophy?
Yeah, like it's. I mean, like we've talked about
in the '60s, or
when you have
not
a
even like '80s football.
No,
I don't get it, and I don't even know why I personally care. Like, I'm a Viking fan, but like
you're a Vikings fan.
But like just seeing Aaron Rodgers last like 6-7 years get kind of like just thrown away with like very little innovation, very little intrigue. They never take a chance. I thought when Ted Thompson left 4 or 5 years ago,
it would be better.
Yeah, but it's actually gotten worse without Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson was actually good at drafting.
Well, and what Ted Thompson would do, Ted Thompson actually got him receivers, and Like he would actually make a focus on the passing game.
Drafted fucking Devontae Adams in the second, third round.
Yeah, he was a beast at that. But ever since they got this new guy, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce.
Gutenkurs.
Yeah, Gutengorsch or whatever his face is. They have completely tried to build up other areas of the team and have just neglected Aaron Rodgers' weapons.
Yeah, and it's just never turned out. All right, pick is in for the Patriots, but we know how this has been going.
Yeah.
They're taking a commercial break. Mike, thank you for helping me out. I'm
thinking about
going to the viewers. I'm thinking about going live tomorrow, maybe at the end of it, just to say because second round can get juicy. So wait and see approach on that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Mike, appreciate it, my friend.
All right. Thank you, man. I'll see you.
Have a good one.
You too.